All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Lakers take on the Celtics later today, 4:30 tip-off there, but the news is that LeBron and Anthony Davis will not be playing in that game, soft. And tonight, Brian Dutcher Coach's Show, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Coach Dutch and John. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride with the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour one of Jon and Jim. Now, let me start here. Okay, first of all, we have a bracketologist on the show. It is Jim's fault because when I said earlier today, who should we have on the show? And we were kind of finagling our way through trying to find the right guest for this show. He suggested a bracketologist. I then, Brent, I kid you not, within an hour had booked 3. But we can't have 3 bracketologists on the show, so I was able to get it down to 1.
But you should have got a meteorologist.
Dude, you're not kidding. That's a really good point.
It's raining outside,
yeah, like,
so everyone be safe out there, by the way.
This is like a 2 seed when it comes to. I mean, this is a big storm.
Luckily, on my way into work, I didn't face too much rain
like
or
10
traffic
days ago or whatever.
Or flooding like it was like a week and a half ago.
That was terrible.
That was beyond bad. I mean, that was the worst it's been in a long time here. But from my experience today, it hasn't been bad, but I know that the rest of the county, there's other places that are experiencing it and, obviously have worried and the flooding and all that stuff. So hopefully everyone's okay out there, wherever you're at.
Drive safely.
And drive safely, buckle up, drive slow. It's not about, getting there. It's about getting there safely, not about just speeding to work or wherever you're going to.
Says the guy when I text him, yo, I'm going to be late. What do you mean you're going to be late?
Hey. Am I late today?
No, I'm saying I text you like I'm going to be late. And you're like, what do you mean you're going to be late?
Oh,
I think that last time might have been one of the – every once in a while you get stuck in traffic, but you're right. I mean, what can you really do about it?
Yeah,
It's never worth it, by the way. It's
Never.
a good point. It's never worth you're going in like HOV lanes and you're flying down the highway.
No,
for what?
It doesn't
To
matter.
make it somewhere 2 minutes earlier?
I'd rather be there 5 minutes late and be safe.
Than make it get in a crash.
Exactly. So everyone be safe, drive safely wherever you're at. And if you're in your car, we'll be with you. So,
all right. So here's the deal. We don't have a meteorologist, but we do have a bracketologist,
no.
Lucas Harkins, who's terrific. He does a lot of work. He's got publications. He's doing daily brackets. He's working with Field of 68. He'll join us coming up at 4 p.m. There's some interesting sound I want to play back from Kyle Glazer coming up in a few moments. He was on with Coach earlier today. If you missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it at sportssd.com. Before we get to that, we had speculated for weeks like, yo, what's the deal with FanFest? And we had kind of concluded, well, they're renovating Gallagher Square. They leave for Korea. Spring training starts early. I guess they're just not doing it, despite the fact that they had like 1 million people at FanFest 2023. Well, we find out today they are doing FanFest, Jim. So what are some of the details? It's after the Korea series and before the home opener on March 28th. There will be a FanFest at Petco Park here in 2024.
So it's going to be weird because the Padres will have played 2 regular season games before their FanFest.
Yeah.
So they'll have a record whenever this, when they have the FanFest here on that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the weird part about it because they could be 0-2.
Yeah, true. You hopefully
and get their
a
ass
split,
kicked
right?
by the Dodgers.
Or can you get a split?
Or could you, pull off a 2-0 start to your season somehow?
Would you sign up for a split?
I would sign up for a split right now.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But there's a lot of cool things going on with FanFest this year. They're having, photo and autograph sessions with the Padres and alumni, player workout, which I think is pretty cool, including batting practice. Not sure how this is going to usually work because usually FanFests, you get to go on the field. And they have like stations set up on the field and all that stuff. You can play catch with like your friend or your dad or your sister or your mom, whatever the case may be, your brothers on the field. But I don't think they're going to do that this year because they're having a workout.
Yeah, because they're like in
practice.
season.
Yeah, they got to get ready for the season.
Typically FanFest, like they're not in season.
It's like
right?
usually like in January or something. Exactly. They're also going to have an alumni game, softball, which is going to be kind of cool. Celebrity alumni. Did you get a call for that?
Yeah, I am. I'm starting in left field.
Oh, cool.
But that's for the real team. That's just for the celebrity softball team.
The annual Padres Foundation garage sale, which I always think is fantastic.
Cool.
Last year, it was awesome because of all the stuff that they had there. And every year it's cool because they have like banners, like
the Eric Hosmer
banners and everything. Like Rich McGuire bought me one and gave me the giant Eric Hosmer banner. They're also going to do the grand opening of Gallagher Square, which I think everybody can't wait to see because Padres have invested a lot of time, a lot of money into this, and it's going to look really cool. I think it's going to be a welcome addition to that ballpark. So there's a lot of things going on March 24th, and yeah, John, are you excited? You didn't go last year because you were soft.
No, I want to say I didn't go last year, not because I was soft, but because like San Diego State had a game or something like that. I could be wrong about that. By the way, that is the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. We've took the Korea series kind of coincides with it. That Fan Fest kind of coincides with it as well. But yeah, it's nice to know that they will have it. Now, we saw something earlier, and you're going to hear from Kyle Glazier coming up on Ethan Salas. We've talked a lot about Salas. Was it Jim Bowden at The Athletic that had these bold predictions? And one of them was Jackson Merrill is going to appear in the big leagues at like the halfway point or at some point in 2024, right? One of the top prospects in the organization, the infielder. It might give him some time in the outfield. One of the top prospects in all of baseball. And this bold take was, he's going to appear at some point, maybe by the halfway point. Did he also say that Ethan Salas would appear at some point in 2024? Or was that a bold take at The Athletic that Salas would appear or not?
So Jim Bowden from The Athletic, he has Ethan Salas here that could be at the big league level. Also, I know Alden Gonzalez wrote another article as well talking about Jackson Merrill. Potentially, like his bold take was that he's going to make the opening day roster for the Padres.
Oh, opening day
roster, and that we're going to see Jackson Merrill in 2024 at some point. I think with everything that we've talked about and said and heard, like it just, to me, seeing those two players up anytime in 2024, both of them at the same time would be kind of a scary proposition. If we saw Jackson Merrill at some point in this season, later in the season, later half of the season, I think that would be okay. But any time during the season, if we see Ethan Salas at the big league club wearing a Padres uniform, that to me is like a red flag. Nope.
But Merrill, you feel the same way about Merrill, or you're saying both of them? Do you feel the same way about Merrill at any point appearing in 2024, appearing in the big leagues? If Jackson Merrill appears in the big leagues July 1st, he's promoted, is primarily a starter. You're not promoting him to sit on the bench, and he finishes the season with the Padres. Is that a red flag? Jackson Merrill making his big league debut in 2024? If he starts the year in AA or AAA, tears the cover off the baseball, all the reports are good. How old would he be? 21? I mean, couldn't you see a scenario where he's up in the second half of the year?
I could see a scenario, and that scenario involves other players on the team getting injured.
Does it?
To me, where's he going to play if you have everybody in your infield healthy?
Well, yeah, it's one thing to be healthy. It's another thing to be effective. I mean, you had a Jake Cronenworth situation where he was wildly inconsistent. I get it. He's making money. Or you had Xander Bogaerts, who for 4 months wasn't performing. I mean, at some point, you may have to get creative and DH someone to give them opportunities. But I mean, Jackson Merrill is turning 21 in April and was a first-round pick in 2021. I'm not opposed to the idea that this guy hits in 2024 and is up. I am opposed to Ethan Salas. Mm-hmm. So let's hear from Kyle Glazier, formerly Baseball America, a great baseball writer, San Diegan. He was with Coach earlier today talking about Ethan Salas. Take a listen.
Yeah, both are tremendously talented and very, very mature for their ages in terms of how they play on the field. Again, they're both very, very composed. Merrill's very instinctually and fundamentally sound at shortstop, well beyond his years. So I think you could definitely see a scenario where these guys do break into the major leagues here at, a young age, 20, 21 years old. At the same time, they both have partial seasons at AA on their ledger, I should say. And we've seen the Padres before rush guys to the detriment of both the player and the team. It does make sense to start these guys possibly back in AA, certainly AAA, no higher than that. Let them get a half season there and then bring them up if they prove they're ready. At the end of the day, these are two talented kids. You don't want to short circuit their development just because you need someone to fill a hole for you on a team that has a lot of holes right now. I think the best thing for the Padres, both short-term and long-term, is to let these kids develop. And maybe that means they come up sometime around the All-Star break. Any sooner than that would be a little bit concerning.
Okay, there was then a follow-up. I think when he said any sooner than the All-Star break, he was talking about Merrill and Snelling. Because then there was a follow-up where he said if Salas appears in the big leagues in 2024, and I'm paraphrasing, it would be a red flag. Because, I mean, he's 17 years of age. He's 17 years of age. Where Merrill, again, he's 21. That's a huge difference. I mean, between 17 and 21 is a huge difference. Plus the position. I mean, Salas is a catcher. So, yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I think I don't know what the right word would be. I don't know if it'd be foolish, but I'd be very surprised if Salas appeared in 2024.
I would be too. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. I just don't see why you would do that.
Right.
Why would you rush this guy through your system if you don't have to? Like why?
Yeah, you don't have. It's a good point. You have a catcher,
and I know that Ethan Salas is being talked about like he's the next like Pudge Rodriguez, Buster Posey / Johnny Bench
type.
Had a baby, and it's
right.
Ethan
Yogi
Salas.
Berra.
Yeah, like I that's great, but can we let the kid like develop? Can we let him go through some struggles and overcome them and perform instead of throwing him in the big leagues because he had a nice month in the minors? Like, why are we talking continuously about Ethan Salas making the big league roster in 2024?
I'll tell you why. Because people like backup quarterbacks and people like prospects. And that's exactly why. And also when you're not the top dog, if you're coming off a 100-win season, nobody cares about prospects. They care about what's going on field at the big league level. When you're coming off an 80-win season or an 82-win season, everyone wants to know what's next. And you're also in an offseason where you've traded away Juan Soto. So it's like, what's on the other side? What's behind door number 2? It's like when you're a bad team and you draft a quarterback. When Alex Smith was playing Kansas City, people were talking about Patrick Mahomes. Now, it doesn't always work like that. You don't always have Patrick Mahomes available on the bench. It doesn't always work like that. But that's what it feels like to me. It's like, man, they only won 82 games last year, and the offseason hasn't been that exciting. So, man, I can't wait to see Jackson Merrill and Ethan Salas. That's pretty cool.
No, I get it. It's when your team isn't great, it's always the default of the fans to go right to who's our top prospect and when can we see him.
Right.
I understand that.
Yep.
But this is like an outlier, John, and you know it.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a massive outlier. And Ethan Salas, hopefully he turns out to be what everybody says he's going to be in that organization and around baseball. And you would love that if you're a Padres fan, and the Padres especially. But you got to go through the right process first. It's about the process. And to rush him through just to say, look at this kid, he's the fastest ever to make it the big leagues.
Yep.
And
first
oh my
catcher
gosh,
to appear
first
as an
catcher
18-year-old
and all.
since. Yep.
No.
Yep.
It should not be about that. And maybe sometimes with this organization, I'm not saying that they want it to be about that, but they sure like promoting it, stuff like that.
Well, my argument against it too, Jim, is some of the stuff we talked about yesterday with Pham and Profar. I'm saying right now, Tommy Pham is not the missing piece. So if Tommy Pham, a veteran accomplished major league outfielder, isn't the missing piece, and they've got multiple holes, and I'm not really reaching for Pham, I would take Pham, but I don't think I'm reaching for him. If Pham, a 35-year-old who appeared in the World Series last year, I'm telling you, is not the missing piece, then how is Ethan Salas? There is no world where an 18-year-old is going to come up and set the world on fire in the second half of the year, in my opinion. Now, you never know in terms of a clubhouse dynamic. There are countless examples of rookies coming up or breaking squads and overperforming their minor league numbers or putting a jolt into a club. That's absolutely possible. But like this club is not going to be like, it's the one piece away. If we just had a catcher, that's not who this club is. No. In fact, Luis Campusano has been waiting for this moment. Now, if he doesn't stay healthy, by the way, if he doesn't stay healthy, I'm not going to Ethan Salas. I'm signing a veteran catcher. This is my first order of business. If Luis Campusano wasn't healthy, or I'm turning elsewhere before I'm turning to Ethan Salas.
I'm Ethan Salas. Honestly, I'd put him in a bubble.
Literally.
And I wouldn't even consider him no matter what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if Campusano, Higgy, Sullivan, whoever else they have in their system that could be a catcher gets hurt. I'm not putting Ethan Salas in that position. I'm just not. No matter what. No matter what, Ethan Salas is not touching the big leagues this year.
Okay, there was more from Kyle Glazer. Thank you, Brent, for finding this. This is when he basically highlights the fact of what we're talking about getting Salas to the big leagues in 2024. Would that be a mistake or not? Here's Kyle Glazer.
Yeah, look, he's tremendously poised for his age. I saw a lot of him like Elsinore. You see the swing, you see the way he controlled at bats in the strike zone, defensively, how he receives, how he handles pitchers. Nothing about this kid looks like a 16, 17-year-old as he was throughout last year. He's a very, very talented player and a very, very mature player. At the same time, because he's the same age as a high school junior, there's a lot of physical development still left. He rarely caught back-to-back days. A lot of games he only caught 6, 7 innings and had to come out. So he still needs physical development. I thought moving him from low A Lake Elsinore to high A Fort Wayne was surprising and a little premature. And the move to promote him to double A was just ill-advised. He was nowhere near ready for that. The best thing for him would be to start this year back at high A, get half to a full season there, and maybe finish the year in double A. If he's in the majors at any point this year, that would be a red flag that the Padres are really pushing things beyond where they should.
Maybe finish the year in double A.
Maybe.
Start the year in advanced A. Maybe finish the year in double A. And if he reaches the big leagues, red flag.
Yeah.
He somehow got, and he talked about it in the first answer. I mean, he got to double A last year, and you're like, what on earth is happening?
Mm-hmm.
He had spent like a week in high A, and now you have this 17-year-old kid in double A for like what reason? It goes back to the point we're talking about right now. For what reason? Just to prove people wrong?
This movie that's coming out that everyone wants to see. Like for me, it's Deadpool 3 this year. Right? I think that's, for me at least, that's a movie that I desperately can't wait to see. Right? But that's not for another 6 months or so.
Deadpool 3?
Deadpool 3.
Okay.
Or whatever movie that comes out, right? Say there's a movie that was announced. They're like, oh,
Mean Girls.
No, John, I'm talking about movies that aren't released yet.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at movies.
And it's hard to wait. It's really hard to wait. What if like these movie theaters were like, you know what? We're not going to wait because we want to show you, like, you know, we want to reward your patience or give you something, and we're just going to release the movie now, and it's not ready, and the CGI sucks, and everything is just like really weird and choppy, but there's like potential there. Ethan Salas is not a finished product yet. Ethan Salas is a blockbuster movie that's still going through all of the CGI phase and all of the, you know, reshoots and all of the stuff to make the movie great. Once Ethan Salas makes it to the big league level, you expect him to be a finished product, like a finished movie, where you're not complaining about whatever it would be to complain about an unfinished movie that has horrible CGI and bad, you know, whatever with it. You want to make sure that he is ready to go at the big league level and not rush through your system before he is ready.
Right. Like, I don't need to see Alien Romulus. Am I saying that right? On August 16th right now. If they don't have aliens in it, or if like they're just going to have like some like step-in actor for the aliens. I'm looking at another movie. By the way, Beetlejuice.
They just announced that today. Beetlejuice 2. Yeah.
I'm just looking at movies that are coming out.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Ethan Salas is like a movie poster. Guess what? Ethan Salas coming in 2026.
Right. That's exactly right.
And yeah, you have to wait a little while. It sucks. Waiting's not the most fun thing in the world. Trust me, I'm not patient. Right. I hate waiting for things.
Yeah, I get you.
But you want it to be a finished product. You don't want it to be rushed just to be rushed.
Yeah, like, and here's the deal. Like I said earlier, it's like, if this is a team coming off a National League Championship Series like 2 years ago, you're not talking about Ethan Salas and who's the kid? Leo DeVries.
Yeah.
You're not. I mean, you know that they're there, and it's like open when ready type situation. But all you're talking about is what do they need to do to put their team in a position to get further than the NLCS. It's all that matters. Yep. Nobody would care at all about what's going on in the system. You know that you have a system and it could benefit you at some point. But it's not 2022 anymore. And last year was very disappointing, and people want to grasp onto something. You've lost your owner. You've traded away arguably your best player. You've cut spending. You've made no real moves of significance that any just regular Joe would care about, that just shows up at Petco Park on a Friday night. You think people around San Diego are really talking about Yuki Matsui every day? I mean, this is the fringes of the roster. So because of that, we're trying to grasp onto something. And I think that's why people are like, well, could Jackson Merrill make the club out of spring training?
It's another bold take by ESPN saying that Jackson Merrill can make the big league club out of spring training. Again, another player who you're excited to see, but you're still probably going to have to wait a little while. At least that's what I think they should do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid that they won't wait and the Padres will be too anxious and they want to see this movie right now and they just want to release it.
Right.
They're like, hey, here's Jackson Merrill. It's like, oh, but it's not a finished product yet. Like, why is the dialogue all messed up? Why is the CGI all messed up? You need to make sure these guys are developed. And by the way, if you don't have a spot for Jackson Merrill on this roster, which you really don't right now,
sure,
why have him on it?
Right, because he needs to play. This guy needs to be developed. You're not putting this guy on the bench.
No.
Like, and we talked about this before. Tatis in the minor leagues before getting promoted as a 19-year-old had roughly, I'm looking it up, roughly 1,100 at-bats, okay?
At one point in Tatis's career,
he had more minor league at-bats than major league at-bats.
Right.
But Jackson Merrill has 800 at-bats. He's got 300 plus fewer at-bats in the minor leagues than Fernando Tatis Jr., generational, when Tatis came up. So you're telling me Merrill with less seasoning is going to reach that point now? No, let him be seasoned. He had a 770 OPS last year. It's fine. That was in single A and double A.
Yeah.
He had a 770. You would take that in the major leagues for a rookie. But I'm saying, like, this isn't a guy that's hitting 40 home runs and hitting 400 and getting on base 3 times a game.
And you know what we're going to see this spring? And I'm already preparing myself for it. Jackson Merrill's going to have some really nice moments.
Right. Of course he will.
He's going to go into a game and go 3 for 4 and make a great defensive play at shortstop
Absolutely.
or whatever. And then everybody after that game will be talking about Jackson Merrill should be on the opening day roster.
Right.
No, no, he shouldn't be. Like you said there, John, you need more time. You need, if you have less at bats than Fernando Tatis Jr. in your minor league career and you had a 770 OPS last year in the minors, you need more time.
It's like, I'll leave you with this, and then we can get to the other side where we're going to hear from Cam Newton, another player that says Brock Purdy sucks. Add him to the list. I'll leave you with this. Like, everyone out of college, like if you're like me or you, maybe you wanted to be a sports talk host right out of college, or I wanted to be like a play-by-play guy, like right out of college. You want to be the voice of the Padres as a 22-year-old. You want to be a sports talk host in a big city as a 22-year-old. You're not ready. You're going to be off the air. I mean, if you just step on the air day one out of college, even if it's your hopes and dreams and you prepared for it and you dreamed about it, you're not ready.
Yeah.
You need seasoning. And that's that's been proven out in baseball so often. When you rush, you actually put a player back as opposed to doing it the way it should be properly done.
Our former program director, he would say, for people to be on air, to really start to get it, you need at least like 1,000 hours of airtime.
Yeah. I remember reading a book. It takes about 5 years to get comfortable on air.
Yeah.
Like a play-by-play. And honestly, with the benefit of hindsight, I would have told you between 5 and 10. It takes time. It's the 10,000 hours theory. You only get better by doing.
Now, some people might say, well, you can get better by learning on the job.
True.
But it's a different animal for a Major League Baseball player. Because once Jackson Merrill goes 1 for, 35, he has a slump of that long.
Yeah, then what?
And then he's not playing every day, and he's playing every other day, or then he plays once a week, and then he starts just getting a pinch hit about here and there, and they send him down to the minors, and they bring him back up. And it just becomes, once Merrill and Salas get called up to the big leagues, whenever that is, guess what?
You want him to stick.
You want him to stay. You don't want to be yo-yoing them, and you don't want them to be sitting on the bench, 5 days a week or getting inconsistent at bats. Once they're up, wherever they're put, you want them to be an everyday guy.
Cam Newton says Brock Purdy sucks. You'll hear from him on the other side. Plus, bracketologist Lucas Harkins will join the show coming up at 4 p.m. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. There is another detractor of Brock Purdy, despite the fact that the second-year quarterback has the Niners in the Super Bowl. We'll share who next.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Lakers basketball later this afternoon, taking on the Celtics. Anthony Davis and LeBron James both out for that game for the Lakers. And tonight, the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show, 6 p.m. is when the Coaches Show starts right here on San Diego Sports 760 with John and Coach Dutch. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
Teams with him coming up at 4 p.m. Brian Dutcher, like you said, will join us at 6. And by us, I mean me.
You were so excited once I
couldn't believe you texted it to me.
I know.
Like, why don't you try to get a bracketologist? I'm like, oh, be careful what you wish for. And I
And then you
literally
booked
had 3. I had 3 of them.
Well,
it got tricky because then I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to book you because I can't have 3 bracketologists in the same show. But when people don't get, it's weird. Booking guests is an interesting science. Let's take people behind the curtains for a second, because you'll reach out, but someone may get back to you immediately. Great. That they're in, or it could be 30, 60, 90, 2 hours.
It's so tough because when you're
trying to book a show. So it's like, do you wait to hear back, or do you move on and try to book someone else like Darnay?
And then when you move on, all right, Darnay is the last person that we always text. But when you move on and then you get somebody and then they text you right back and they're like, yeah, I can do it. And then the person that you were waiting on that you moved on from,
I can do
texts
it.
you like, I can do it.
It's the worst.
And you're like, oh, I'm not have to change people. And,
it's really annoying. So anyway, we have one bracketologist today. Will we have one tomorrow? It's possible. We'll have one tomorrow as well.
Just less work for me. It's okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Who else do I have? I feel like I booked something else for tomorrow. Oh, you know who's going to join us tomorrow?
LeBron?
No, not LeBron. He's not playing in Boston tonight.
Brock Purdy?
No, he's not playing tonight either.
Oh.
Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs. Even better than LeBron or Brock Purdy.
Yes.
All right, speaking of Purdy, Cam Newton played in former MVP, played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Very good quarterback. We can all agree. Very good quarterback.
Yeah, he was good.
Not a Super Bowl champion, but a very good quarterback.
He was good. Yeah.
Where would you is like Donovan McNabb, great quarterback, but didn't win a Super Bowl?
Donovan McNabb's better than Cam Newton.
Okay.
Cam Newton had, and it's just, I mean, it's not fair, but
hurt a lot
as far as like just the narrative goes. If you just take out his MVP season, every one of his seasons was kind of just like average.
Okay.
He just was not a good, accurate thrower. I think his career completion percentage is like 59%.
Right.
Had a lot of turnovers, but that one MVP year when the Panthers made the Super Bowl, that was like an all-time year from Cam Newton. I mean, it's hard to find many years from a quarterback like Cam Newton had when they made the Super Bowl 50. I forget what year it was, but maybe 2014. I don't remember, but yeah, that year was amazing by Cam.
Okay, so he has weighed in on Brock Purdy because he hadn't, and every other person in the history of the National Football League.
No,
he had previously?
He called him a game manager.
Oh, he was a game manager previously.
The two biggest Brock Purdy haters are Nick Wright, and Cam Newton.
All right, let's hear the latest from Cam.
I've never said that Brock Purdy was trash. What I did say is Brock Purdy is a game manager. That's not hate. That's just what I feel to be facts. But I still reserve the right to say this. To be labeled a game changer, Brock Purdy has to be the best player on the offensive side of the ball. And that's not the case.
And who's the best player?
Christian McCaffrey. Man, look, I ain't recanting. And if you really want to just be honest, if you add in the defensive talent and you add in the offensive talent, Brock Purdy is the 10th best player on his team. Okay, cool. Did he have a great game? Yes. Is he been playing out of his mind? Yes. Is he a quarterback that's hot? Yes. But he's still the 10th best player on his team.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's whatever. It's like he has a good game and he has an amazing second half and has some great scrambles. And instead of just like acknowledging that, it's no, he had a great game, but he's not even as good as Christian McCaffrey. Like,
Christian McCaffrey is also a Hall of Fame.
Like, we're not talking about that. We're literally just talking about the game, and the game that he had was a really good game, and he's a really good quarterback.
It's such a I mean, to say he's the 10th best player on his team it is probably an overreach because the quarterback is such an important position. It's not to say that those other players aren't extremely impactful, but the quarterback position is really impactful too. And I'm not here to say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think you are either.
No,
to be honest,
he's not.
Like, when you think about the Niners, who are the quote unquote, like who are the better players at their position than Purdy is at his position? We would say McCaffrey. We would say Bosa. Are there other better players at their position than Purdy is at his position around the league?
Yeah.
Like again, McCaffrey would be the number one player at his position.
But it's so funny because it's like when Purdy plays well,
it's everyone else.
Not about, hey, we're just going to talk about him playing well. It goes from, hey, he played well, but I mean, Chris McCaffrey's the best running back in the league. You're like, whoa. Okay, yes, Chris McCaffrey's the best running back in the league, but why is that a knock on Purdy for having a good game? That's what it's kind of like, doesn't make any sense. And by the way, nobody is saying that Brock Purdy
is the best.
Yeah. Nobody is saying Brock Purdy is better than Patrick Mahomes. We all know Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the league. No one's saying he's better than Lamar or Josh Allen or whatever. And
it's that next tier, I think. That's where it gets a little weird because people are like, oh, 2 is better than Brock.
Well, people got offended this year when they said Brock Purdy should be in the MVP conversation. Instead of saying, like, nobody said when Brock Purdy's in the MVP conversation, that means he is the best definitive best player in the league. The MVP never goes to always the definitive best player in the league.
True.
If that was the case, Patrick Mahomes would be the MVP the last 5 years. Or Tom Brady should have been the MVP for 20 years. But that's never the case in every single sport.
Yeah. There's a lot of Aaron Rodgers MVP awards, right?
There's a lot of, how many times have LeBron won the MVP? Or how many times have LeBron never won MVP, but he should have?
Yeah, I'm sure there's 5.
Derrick Rose won MVP one year over LeBron. It's about the singular season that's happening. And Brock Purdy was putting up MVP numbers. It's about the numbers, not that we're saying that, oh, Brock Purdy's the best player in football. Whoa,
you
lost
okay?
my voice there. But hey, whatever. If just keep doubting Purdy, it's fine. If he has a bad game in the Super Bowl, everyone's going to destroy him.
And if he has a good game, though, he's not getting credit. I've been saying that. It's going to have to be historically good. I really believe that. If it's 250, 1 touchdown, no picks, 19 yards rushing in a 27-24 win, he's not getting the credit. I'm telling you, Jim,
No,
he's
he
not.
won't.
And then Christian McCaffrey goes for 119 and 2. He's your MVP.
Yeah.
Purdy was the quarterback for Christian McCaffrey's team.
Mhm.
They won a game because of their defense. They won a game because of Christian McCaffrey. If he throws for 390 yards and 3 touchdowns, well, it'll shut everyone up.
Right.
But that's what's going to happen.
But he won't do that.
But do you agree that's what's going to happen? A loss, it's on him. A win, it's other people.
Yeah. No, if it's right or wrong, Brock Purdy is going to get either all the blame,
A lot of it
in the Super Bowl,
yeah.
or he's going to get no credit.
That's what I think, unless he has a historically good game.
Because even with his performance, and he did not play a great game against the Lions. The first half was not
First half
good.
wasn't good. Second half was really
Second
good.
half was really good, but still he did not play
had that pick early.
like particularly well. He has not played well this postseason.
Yeah.
He had the fourth quarter in the Packers game was really good.
That was really good.
And then the second half versus the Lions was really good. But overall, he's not played great. And even when he does play well this postseason, and when he has, there's still people out there that say that, you know what, Brock Purdy, he got lucky.
Well, we're going to find out next Sunday who's going to win the Super Bowl. And you should be watching because your Niners are
I might watch.
All right. There is a very bad look going on tonight in professional sports. We'll tell you what look that is or why on the other side. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, we're just talking about it. The big game just around the corner. You can play along right now on Underdog Fantasy with the Pick'em game. You pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on player stats, and if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in one single night.
It's legal in California, and me and John, we've been playing Underdog Fantasy for about a year now, and it could not be easier. If you like fantasy sports, you're going to love Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest way to win.
All right, so get in the game now. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code Jon and Jim. That's JONANDJIM. And Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Then you're ready for the big game. Plus, they'll give you a special pick of higher than a half total yard to use on your first pick'em entry.
That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Jon and Jim to get your first deposit of $10 or more match plus your special pick. Must be 18 years or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Lucas Harkins, bracketologist, will join us coming up in about 15 minutes. Jim can go get soup or whatever Jim does.
Soup. I'll go get like a drink and some chips, and I'll have a nice little break.
Okay. So Lucas Harkins will join us. San Diego State, Utah State is such a big game Saturday. We'll get you ready for that. It's going to be hard for me to sleep, to be honest. Now, anyway, I know what I was saying before you guys were talking about meteorologists and bracketologists. So yesterday I didn't feel well. I went home. I never do this. I went home, and no joke, it was like 7:27. I even texted you. I'm like, hey, I might be like dying, and I might have made you get sick too. But I went into my bed at like 7:27, took NyQuil. I didn't get out of my bed until like 7 in the morning.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. I was very tired and didn't feel well. Had the chills a little bit, was achy.
Shocker. You have 2 hours of sleep and you don't feel well.
Yeah. I'm always doing something.
As you get older, you need sleep.
That's what my wife said.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
22 years old. When I was 22, I was up till like 3 in the morning, and
college is the best.
It was like, dude, I could work on a couple hours of sleep just fine.
Well, what are we going to do? Here's a serious question. First of all, you're about to be old come February 5th, and you can rent a car.
Oh, man.
Or that's 25.
I'm 35.
Oh, you could be president.
Oh, I can be?
Of the United States of America.
How do you think that would go?
Not well. You would, if you piss our listeners and viewers off, I can only imagine what you do with the United States of America.
I'm like, today is National Brock Purdy Day.
Ethan Salas.
No, I'd be a bad president.
Okay.
Because I would be like, there's a lot of work to do here. I can't do this.
Yeah, like your State of the Union would be solely about like Steph Curry.
It really would be
so dumb. What were we talking about?
AJ Preller.
He's got to go.
Gotta go.
What were we talking about?
What do you mean? You
Before
being sick?
that.
You being sick and
But then
like
there was something.
sleeping and like bracketology.
Okay, Lucas Harkins will join us in 10 minutes.
He's still like not feeling well.
What's the biggest rivalry in professional sports? Give me the top like 5 professional sports, the big 4.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Thank you. Yeah, go across the sports.
Michigan, Ohio State.
Not professional sports. Those are collegiate athletes.
Oh, sorry.
But that's a big one.
That's okay, Jim. I was about to say Duke, Carolina.
That's a big one. Obviously, NFL's got huge ones. Okay. What would you say like NBA's biggest rivalry is?
I would say NBA, Lakers Celtics tonight, 4:30. Today,
you
4:30.
have Lakers, Celtics tonight. The Celtics have the best record in the NBA, I believe. The Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And the Lakers are in Boston tonight. The biggest rivalry in the sport. And neither LeBron James nor Anthony Davis are playing. That is a travesty. Now, if they're hurt, if they got broken limbs, completely understood.
I think AD's actually hurt.
He may be hurt. But I mean, come on, if you can go, it's Lakers Celtics. It is a massive rivalry that transcends just professional basketball. Everyone knows it to be a top 5, 6 rivalry in American sports, and you can't get a star on the court to appear in this game.
The NBA this year, I don't. It's been bad.
I know you've been saying that.
It's been bad. It's on a steady decline for sure. The highest rated game that they've had this year, and one of the best games, honestly, was last Saturday.
Oh, that was a great game. That 145, 144. I watched some of that. The Warriors game.
When you have LeBron and Steph,
yes,
still the number one attraction in your league,
10 years later,
that's a problem. You can't have that because those guys aren't going to be around forever. And once LeBron and Steph are gone, I mean, good luck. Because right now, the NBA product isn't doing it for people. It's not. It's just nobody cares about Timberwolves, OKC on a Thursday night. And guess what? Those two teams are two of the best in the league.
Right. So what are they going to do? Guys are playing a little more. Remember, these new rules say 65 games to be eligible for awards.
Right.
Where guys were playing like 55. You might get some guys to 65. But like you said, a week ago, LeBron's playing in this double overtime or overtime classic. And now it's Lakers, Celtics. And no, you just can't go. No, you can. Is that, I mean, if this is the NBA Finals, you can't go?
Hey, look, he tweeted out an hourglass, John. That means something.
Does it mean we're waiting for the trade deadline?
What does it mean? I don't know.
It's probably a shot at Darvin Ham.
Like, it's time's up, Darvin Ham.
But don't you agree with that?
I'll
you
be
have a
back when
nationally
you're not.
televised game.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I'm sorry. It's Lakers and Celtics. It's the biggest thing.
The product is not great right now. It's just not. Watching like last week or 2 weeks ago when Lucas scored 70.
Yeah.
Every single one of those highlights that I saw, because I didn't watch the game, but every highlight I saw, it was some of the worst defense you'll ever see.
Right.
And you see star players now get fouled in the weakest ways possible, and they're getting 20 free throws a game and mucking up the game. And the Lakers lead the league in free throws taken, and it's just a horrible product.
Right.
And when you don't have the NBA in, making these markets big time and these players, and it's just, these games don't mean much right now. They just don't. They don't feel big at all. Even if LeBron and AD were playing tonight.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel big. You're right.
I don't think it would feel
first.
It wouldn't feel big at all.
Yeah. What do you got, Brent?
Well, a couple days ago, Stephen A. and them were talking about this and about how the big thing is the play-in tournament has exposed the regular season now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the teams played harder for the play-in tournament because they wanted the money, not necessarily because LeBron wanted it, but they wanted it for like the bench players and the guys that don't make $8 jillion. $8
jillion's a lot.
Yeah, but some of the guys do make that.
But he said it's almost the play-in not the play-in tournament, the in-season tournament's fault because everyone saw them all try and they all played defense.
That's interesting.
And then the tournament ended and they went back to not playing defense and just kind of half-assing everything. And it's blatantly obvious now that they've gone from trying to half-assing.
Do you go further with the tournament? Like, do you actually make it more of an event, more games?
I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. And Adam Silver,
that just falls on the players.
Yeah,
just
it is weird.
Take some more pride in your regular season. Otherwise, I guess we will shorten it then if you guys just care so little about it, and we're going to pay you less for it too.
Yeah.
And another thing too that I've heard being talked about is some of the best players in the league are all international guys, and I think when it's that international players, right?
It's not resonating.
I don't think it's resonating as much.
Yeah, it might be huge to your point in Spain or Croatia or where these players are from.
Yeah.
But is it as impactful with the American viewing audience? I don't know.
Like when you see guys go through college and they're star players.
So you're familiar with them
and you're familiar with them, and then they come up and then they go to a team and it's like, I mean, okay.
Right. All we knew about Victor Wembanyama was that 35-second interview. So with Windhorst from Paris.
And even with Victor Wembanyama, as great as he could be,
nobody's talking
about him and no one cares.
No one. He's had some amazing moments.
He has had some amazing moments, but
they already put him on a minutes restriction in his rookie year. It's like you should have him out there every game.
Yep.
It's like a whisper in the wind, honestly.
All right, Lucas Harkins is a bracketologist, does work with the Field of 68. And he's going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about San Diego State. Where do the Aztecs stand right now with about a month and a half to go until Selection Sunday, the state of the Mountain West as well. Lucas Harkins, bracketologist, joins us next.
All right, this update's brought to you by eBay Motors. Lakers take on the Celtics about a half hour from now in Boston, but Anthony Davis and LeBron James will both not be playing in that game. And tonight, the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show, 6 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Coach Dutch and John. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. This hour, your chance to win tickets to see Train with REO Speedwagon, a concert at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. It was announced this week, in fact. We have tickets for that. It will be September 10th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. We'll have the wrap for you coming up later this hour as well. We're going to catch up with Lucas Harkins in a moment. He is a bracketologist, Jim. I don't know if you realize that.
What?
Yes. So Lucas Harkins, who, by the way, I find to be one of the best at what he does. And there's a lot of people that do this, right? Get you ready for Selection Sunday, cover it day in and day out. He does a really good job with Heat Check, college basketball, Field of 68 as well. And he's back with us here, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So, Lucas, I was just telling Jim that I really appreciate the work you do. I know there's a lot of people that kind of cover the sport and get into the weeds and do the day-out coverage of bracketology, and I find your work to be really good for our listeners. Again, Heat Check college basketball, Field of 68, and all around the internet. Lucas Harkins with us right now on Jon and Jim. So I want to start, obviously, I mean, we cover San Diego State. We're the flagship. What's your 30,000-foot view of the Mountain West in general this year?
The Mountain West has been really good from a bracketology standpoint and from just the sheer watching the league this year. It's a really good league. I mean, they're looking at, San Diego State's obviously been as successful as it has been over the past few years and continues to do that this year. Utah State's been good. New Mexico, Colorado State, Boise State, Nevada's had nights where it looks good. UNLV is always a threat. The league's really good this season, and it's a really exciting one that's going to get more bids than some of those traditional power conferences.
For you, who right now has the best resume in the Mountain West Conference?
I think it's still Boise State. I mean, I think it's still San Diego State for now. That could change as early as Saturday night. Utah State's pretty close and knocking on the door there. But for right now, I think it's still San Diego State, followed by Utah State, as those top two, with New Mexico and Boise kind of being next to each other around the 7-8 kind of seed lines.
How has the Mountain West done this? Lucas Harkins is with us. He's a bracketologist. But I look at, some of these projections. You see the ACC potentially with fewer teams than the Mountain West, or the Pac-12 potentially with fewer teams. Now, obviously, the Mountain West isn't a quote-unquote power league. They've had 4 teams in the NCAA tournament each of the last 2 years. Of course, San Diego State was the team to make the run last year to a national championship game. So what is it about the Mountain West from a scheduling perspective, or how have they gotten to this point, in your opinion?
Well, I think there's part of it is that scheduling factor. I mean, you just look at San Diego State itself. This season's 15th in the country in non-conference strength of schedule. The league tests itself well outside of conference play and has proven it with some big performances. Colorado State picked up its win over Creighton in the non-conference. There are just examples of this conference picking up wins, and not just this season. They've picked up wins over the past 2 seasons, as you mentioned. Knock on the door with getting 4 bids several times in a row here. Where they've built up enough of a reputation there, it puts them in a great spot to kind of, you don't have to build up momentum as the year goes on and try to convince people that the Mountain West deserves to be in the NCAA tournament field. They've proven it, and San Diego State's run, the national championship game, certainly plays a factor in that too.
So you mentioned the fact that there's 5 teams with legitimate NCAA tournament resumes right now. I think you could probably argue the merits of Nevada. Certainly they have some opportunities, you would think, in the second half of conference play, maybe to garner some attention. Is 5 realistic, or is it inevitable that because you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 capable teams that someone is going to fall off? Or how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I think 5 is probably the number. And I think that's because of Boise State going on the road and winning in the pit over New Mexico. That's a huge one to put them kind of in a safer position. I mean, you look at the teams in the league this year. New Mexico obviously has outstanding metrics. They're the best of the group in several areas. Utah State only has 2 losses. San Diego State's got its benefits. Colorado State 6-4 against the upper two quadrants. Boise State 7-5. They have the quantity of quality to get there. And for all of them, all 5 of those teams have resume metrics within the top 35. That's KPI and strength of record. Those are going to continue to be high because they play good teams. Like Air Force and Fresno State, those groups are at the bottom still. But half the league is really, really talented, and those are going to be high-quality games that either qualify as big wins for those teams or just ones that aren't going to affect those metrics very much.
Lucas Harkin's with us right now. He checked college basketball field of 68 bracketologists. We're about 6 weeks out right now from Selection Sunday. What's I guess let me ask you this. Would you, if you're the Mountain West, and again, the money gets in the way of this a little bit, but would you prefer to have the extra team, but all the teams seated in that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 range? Or would you prefer to have one fewer team, but a team emerge and maybe capture, like, I don't know what's realistic. You tell me. I mean, is a 4 seed realistic for someone if someone just races off with this thing over the final month?
Yeah, I think that's possible, but really only, I think, for Utah State and San Diego State right now. And that can obviously depend on the games they play against each other, as they both have those remaining. I think those are the 2 that could potentially play their way up to a 4 line. But I really think it's more about the quantity, because I think that all these teams, or at least a few of these teams, are going to be in positions that are going to be favored on day 1 of their NCAA tournament. And that's really where it comes down to the Mountain West. Anyone can make a run as a 3 seed, as a 6 seed. I don't think that really matters all that much. It's about the matchups they get in those situations. And I think they put themselves into being in a position to have pretty good seeding. And from there, as good as San Diego State's run was, it would be a benefit for the whole conference to get a lot of teams winning games. And there's always a benefit to being like, oh, so-and-so conference had 3 teams in the Sweet 16.
Let's talk about the West in general. You've got Gonzaga. I hear, quote unquote, down year. I mean, metrically, it's not really down, maybe by their standards, but they're like a top 3 to 5 metric team, maybe over the last decade. You see St. Mary's, which has really emerged. I mean, San Diego State earlier this year on a neutral floor. I was there in Vegas. I think the Aztecs won by 25 or 26 points, but they've really played much better basketball. What is the resume like for the Gonzagas and the St. Mary's if they don't win the WCC?
Yeah, I think St. Mary's is in a little better spot there. 3 of their wins are in quad 1, and they still have those great quality metrics, meaning KenPom and BPI. Gonzaga has those great metrics, as you alluded to. They're 19th in KenPom, they're 19th in BPI. They don't have a quad 1 win. I think the road for Gonzaga is going to be harder than people think to get into the field. Like, there's great metrics there for efficiency standpoint, but the resume doesn't really stack up. They've won 15 games this year. 10 of them are in quad 4. I think it's going to be a tougher road. I do think that the St. Mary's team is probably going to make the tournament as they continue to play at the level they have over the past month and a half. They've been outstanding, and I think that's going to continue to play well. And maybe St. Mary's making this run opens up an opportunity for Gonzaga to pick up those kind of wins over a St. Mary's. And I believe they get Kentucky also still on the schedule in a remaining non-conference game. So the opportunities are there for Gonzaga, but right now it's going to be challenging, or at least more challenging than it has been for Gonzaga in quite some time.
Lucas Harkin's with us right now. He checked college basketball field of 68, talking some bracketology about 6 weeks out from Selection Sunday. What about the Pac-12? Are there any, I mean, lock's a strong word because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, Arizona obviously is going to be in the NCAA tournament. Beyond Arizona, what does it look like for the Pac-12 right now?
Yeah, I think Utah is in pretty good position. Utah 6-7 across the upper 2 quadrants. They have 3 quad 1 wins. 2 of those are against some of the best of the best. I think Utah's in good shape. And then it's Colorado, Washington State, Oregon are all kind of in the mix, but none of them feel safe right now. I have Washington State on the right side of the cut line and Colorado barely. Oregon just on its way out, just on the outside right now. But those 3 teams, maybe. So I think it'd be a surprise if all 3 got in. And I don't really see that Washington USC group really being able to contend. So I think it's a maximum of 5, but that would be pretty lucky, I think, at this point.
A couple of more for you here, Lucas, before you go. The Arizona story is a little bit of a unique one. They got off to an amazing start. They beat Duke at Cameron, but they have some perplexing losses. I know it's hard to win on the road, and they're in league, and it seems like every time they're on the road, they've been losing. They've got a neutral floor loss to FAU. I mean, they've got a tournament resume. That's not in question, but do they have a 1 seed resume if things go perfectly from here on out? Or What's their ceiling? Is it a 2 seed?
Yeah, I think they're pretty solidly a 2 for me right now. But I do think there is a push there for a 1 seed, in part because of the wins they have. When you compare it to teams that they'll be fighting with at the top, obviously they have the road win at Duke, and if Duke plays well, Duke can play its way up to a 2 or a 3 seed. That then becomes an unbelievably good road win for Arizona. They dominated Wisconsin at home by 25, a Wisconsin team that now is looking at a 2 seed, and if they win at Nebraska tonight, could be even in contention for a 1 seed themselves. And if you're going to talk about Wisconsin as a 1 seed, it's hard to do that without mentioning Arizona with a 25-point win at home in that. Alabama's played really well lately. They're a metric darling, and they're rising up towards the 3 seed line too. That's another win for Arizona. I think that they have some of those really, really great wins. They're going to hold off some of those other teams. That's why I think they are still in the mix for 1 seed. But there is something to be said for the fact that they aren't going to pick up any more elite wins the rest of the year because their schedule does not afford it. Their best win possible the rest of the year is a Colorado road win, which is a fringe tournament team.
All right, before you go, so if the season ends today, San Diego State is what seed for you?
A 5.
Okay, so if the season ends today, San Diego State would be a 5 seed. Of course, they were a 5 seed a year ago when they went to the national championship game. Okay, now this is actually the final question. FAU, there's always a lot of discussion in San Diego since last year's Final Four about, hey, why is FAU getting all this consideration and national attention when San Diego State beat FAU last year in the NCAA tournament? It feels like the Aztecs are always under the radar a little bit, always just having success under Brian Dutcher and Steve Fisher. And FAU, it feels like, is still a bit of a darling, but they've got some really curious losses on their resume. How does FAU's resume compare to San Diego State's?
So for one, I have Florida Atlantic just a bit behind San Diego State right now. I have FAU sitting on the 6 seed line, in part because of those questionable losses. But in terms of seeing them as a darling relative to San Diego State, you kind of hit on it when you use the word always.
Yeah.
Like, San Diego State's always been good. It's not a surprise to see San Diego State in the 5 seed range. It's just not. It's been such a successfully good program, consistently successful program over the last few years, that having it as high as a 5 seed and getting consideration in the top 25 and getting that kind of national attention has really become the norm. So I think that's what differentiates it from Florida Atlantic, who probably should have earned that kind of hype last year as they ran through their schedule throughout the year and probably were underseeded at that 8-9 spot. So I think that some of that's a little bit of a delayed reaction to FAU being really good last year, and they are still quite good this year with that Arizona win that you mentioned. So I think that that's what comes back to it for FAU is they're just kind of they're a new face, and everyone's happy and thrilled for new faces coming into the mix. Whereas when you look at the rest of the teams in the 1 through 7 seed range, it's some pretty familiar faces.
Lucas Harkins, again, at Hardwired Sports on Twitter. If you're an Aztec fan, if you're a college hoops fan, this is a great follow. At Hardwired Sports, Lucas Harkins, you can find him on social media. Again, Heat Check College Basketball, Field of 68. Lucas, really enjoyed it. Thanks for taking time for San Diegans today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right. Jim, how was your coffee?
Did you like that? Are you good now?
Here's what I like. Here's what I like about when I interview bracketologists. I like how you don't say anything.
Because I would just mess things up.
Really, I mean, you have nothing. You have nothing to add. I mean, I hate to say that, but it would be like if we were doing like a conversation about Brock Purdy's footwork. I don't care, but you do. So if we had a Brock Purdy footwork expert on, I feel like you could talk to.
Man, I'm so proud of myself today for putting the bracketology guest.
That was your idea
in your brain.
Yes, it was definitely.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. You would go, ooh!
I got
then
excited.
We get a couple of bracketologists on and put my feet back and put my feet up and relax for the next 15 minutes or so.
I'm waiting for the day I come in and the rundown is all bracketologists.
Maybe the Friday before Selection Sunday, depending on the circumstances. But we'll see. Brian Dutcher will join us at 6 p.m. The Brian Dutcher Show right here on San Diego Sports 760. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a sound?
No.
I think yes.
Depends on who you ask.
That's kind of the Jim Harbaugh introductory press conference today. There's no it's hard to find the fact that he actually was introduced to the media today. Like, this is not a big story for whatever reason. Now, we knew he was going to be the head coach. It's not, surprise. So that's already been announced, and that was a significant story when it was announced. But the introductory press conference, there's not been a ton of reaction to that today.
I saw one picture of him walking in to the auditorium. It wasn't even close to halfway full.
Is that right?
Yeah, maybe there were more people that came later on or whatever,
Okay.
but like you said, it was, for me at least, and I feel like I have a good finger on the pulse of everything going on in the world of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Crickets, man. Just literal crickets.
Did he not say anything interesting? I mean, he's typically a pretty good soundbite.
Like if I'm just
you just scroll, there's nothing.
It's
not trending.
I mean,
scroll through your timeline. I don't see much.
Like if I look here, all right. 40 minutes ago, they tweeted something like a quote from Harbaugh.
Right.
It has 23 comments. Like it has now it has 1,000 likes, but like you have 1.1 million followers.
Exactly. It's like 0.001% of your followers.
He mentioned something today about like I think Junior Seau.
And he was complimentary, by the way, of USD today.
Yeah, look, for every San Diego Charger fan that was, anything that's mentioned about this team, about their past, or like, just don't talk about us. Like just don't talk about the past of this team, because guess what? You're in LA now, and your franchise started in 7 years ago, right?
Right.
Like all the history from this team, just don't talk about it, because no one wants to hear it.
He did say he seeks multiple championships. Like, hold on, we gotta walk before we're running here. I mean, you've been in a Super Bowl in the history of the franchise, and it didn't exactly go well.
And look, Jim Harbaugh, I mean,
he's a great coach.
He's a really good coach, and he's probably going to get that team to a level that they haven't seen in a long time. But still, the resonating factor, like one of the biggest things by hiring Harbaugh was to just actually resonate in that city, or resonate in general. And they're not, and they never will be.
It's hard.
So
I mean, look at the Clippers did everything. They bring in Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, big time head coaches, have success in regular season, quasi success in postseasons, and it's still hard to cut through. And the Clippers have been in Los Angeles for 40 years.
Guess what the number one talking point in LA is right now, today?
Probably LeBron and AD not playing, followed by Dodgers report in like 9 days.
Exactly.
Right? Would you agree?
It's
the
Lakers,
Sparks upcoming draft.
Lakers,
maybe.
Dodgers, USC football,
Rams, maybe eventually.
Dude, the NFL tried to just force its way into the LA market because it's one of the biggest markets in the country. It's a smart play because why not? But LA is like, dude, we don't care about you guys. Like, what are we doing here?
619. I did hear this, by the way. Did you hear Coach earlier today for Darren that the Spanos family was told they had to invest in a good coach because they were irrelevant in LA, and it's a problem that they were told. The coach did say they were told you have to finally spend on a head coach. Like, this isn't going to fly. You can't be behind non-NFL teams in your market in terms of relevancy. The NFL is king, but in Los Angeles, it's always been a challenge. And I mean, challenge is being super kind to the Chargers 7 seasons.
Would have been bigger. Like, I was watching ESPN today.
Yeah. Thought it'd be live or something?
And I thought it'd be live.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
I think it might have been on NFL Network, but that's just like big time, you're going ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
You would think it was nothing. Nothing. It was crickets. And it's if you're Jim Harbaugh, you're probably like, wait, what? Because it's Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, exactly. LA.
He should resonate.
There's more media members in Ann Arbor than there are in Los Angeles.
And that just proves how the Charger brand is literally irrelevant, no matter who you put with it and like who you attach to it.
Can he change that? I mean, can he change that? If, like he said, we're seeking multiple championships, I mean, good luck. But, if you go 13-4 a couple of times and you make an AFC title game a couple of times, that really change things or not? I guess we'll find out.
They remind me, the brand now, like, those crappy Thursday night games between the Titans and the Jaguars?
Of course.
And like, that's the type of brand the Chargers are. They're just like the crappy Jaguars brand. It's not a big brand. It's whatever. Titans kind of like, whatever.
Do you think they get some big? I mean, obviously the Baltimore Charger game will be a big marquee nationally televised game.
Because of brothers. Yeah, it'll be on ESPN or Sunday Night Football.
I am interested to see like the placement of like the Jim Harbaugh Chargers in 2024 on television, like where these games are placed.
Yeah,
in
Jim
the hierarchy.
Like we talked about what was it? 2021? There was a lot of discussion here in town. It was like, has Tatis brand become bigger than the Padres? Harbaugh's brand is bigger than the Chargers.
Well, yeah, that's easy. That one's easy.
By 1,000,000%.
Because they don't have a brand, really.
And so whenever Jim Harbaugh leaves that team, that brand will go right back to being irrelevant. And to be honest with you, it's still pretty irrelevant as of right now with Harbaugh.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does it change with a couple of 13-4s? Not that that's happening next year, but if in 2 to 5 years they're 13-4 back-to-back years.
Do you really think and believe? Because Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're not going anywhere.
I know. Okay. Well, certainly Mahomes isn't.
Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow,
Josh Allen,
CJ Stroud.
Yep.
They're not going anywhere. Might I forget anybody in the AFC?
Probably.
Alex
O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell. If Harbaugh can take that franchise and beat all of those quarterbacks and teams that I just named, like I said, it would be the greatest coaching accomplishment in the history of football.
He's done some decent work, though, previously.
I just don't. I could be wrong. I do think they're going to win just because it's Harbaugh, and I think Harbaugh's a really good coach. But as far as relevancy goes, like nothing. Zippo. Good luck.
All right, the wrap is on the other side. Plus, later this hour, your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon September 10th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets are available at livenation.com. We'll get to the wrap coming up next. All right, guys, I've been telling you for months about my friends over at Windmill Farms. As you're getting ready for the big game a week from Sunday, all your grocery needs, Windmill Farms has you covered. Of course, during your work week as well, there's no easier, more convenient spot for lunch than Windmill Farms. Swing by their deli, pick up a sandwich card. Your 8th sandwich is going to be free. Their deli has everything you could possibly want. They've got fresh ingredients, high-quality ingredients, low prices. They pride themselves on those low prices. So make sure to swing by the deli during your work week. And again, whatever your grocery needs are, Windmill Farms has you covered. Great produce and meats, organic and farm fresh, amazing craft beer selection, a huge selection. It really is of craft beer. They're centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard. They're the college area's natural grocer, and they have been family owned for over 2 decades, serving San Diegans. Trevor and his family, they work with San Diego businesses as well. So many of them, local businesses. Harris Ranch, Mr. G Salsa, and many, many more. In addition, maybe you don't live or work near the college area. You can find Windmill Farms on Instacart. Have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. There's nothing easier than that. They've got weekly specials for you at windmillfarmsmarket.com or on Instagram. Again, windmillfarmsmarket.com. As you get ready for the big game, a reminder, shop local, shop at Windmill Farms.
All right, this update's brought to you by eBay Motors. Lakers Celtics about to tip off in Boston, but LeBron James and Anthony Davis will not be playing tonight for the Lakers. Other news in the NBA. It's been reported that Joel Embiid has a torn meniscus in his left leg after he got fell on by Andrew Wiggins over the weekend versus the Warriors. And tonight is the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show, 6 p.m. with John and Coach Dutch right here on San Diego Sports 760. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligibility items only. Exclusions do apply.
So I forget how you said literal crickets. I think about the Harbaugh thing. It's elicited multiple texts in the text line. Like, his literal crickets are crickets. So there weren't crickets there. And then someone else said, you don't know English the way you said it. Those are crickets. So however you said it, people took exception to it. It's literal crickets. Well, first of all, it'd be literally.
All right, here we go. 619 number says, by the way, literal used to be an awesome effing word. Folks like Jim have made it unusable. I've dropped it from my vocabulary.
Another 619, Jim can always be counted on to give the impression that he's still working on his English fluency. There were quote-unquote literal crickets about the Harbaugh press conference.
When I say crickets, that means that nobody cared. Like, you didn't hear a peep about it. Nothing.
Literal
Not
crickets.
Full literal crickets.
So what you meant to say is there were crickets. There were metaphorical crickets.
Yes.
They're not literal. Let's go to the phones. Tony wants
literally crickets.
Tony wants to weigh in on the literal crickets at the Harbaugh press conference. 877-767.
Hey guys, I think that's both. You're wrong both in the grammatics in terms of literal, and wrong in maybe in some areas of San Diego that I want to listen to. Every major outlet, people like Bill Plaschke, UCLA, ESPN, there are chat groups in San Diego. I'm a San Diego fan, period. I follow the team. I don't care where they move to. If the Raiders fans can follow their team, it's Oakland to LA, back to Oakland and Vegas again, until be Raiders fans, I can be a part of it. A lot of rich takeaways from this press conference. A lot of closing San Diego Chargers fans. So there's a lot of rich takeaways from the news conference. I'll leave you with this one. My favorite anecdote that I think is resonating talked about his last season as Chargers quarterback. In the beginning, he walked through the Chargers legends. He still has the signed senior jersey at home. I just love that little tidbit. But ultimately, he was concluded with, we're in it to win it, and we're going to die trying. Basically, we're going to win it, or we're going to die trying. So, anyways, that's my take, guys.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. And look, I have never said don't be a fan. Like, if you're a fan of the Chargers, it's fine. All the power to you, man. Like, be a fan, wear the jersey, be proud. Like, that's totally fine. I'm just giving you my opinion, my take on the team from my take from things that I've seen behind the scenes and deal with them and we can have it.
I also know how it's resonating today. You can pretend like, okay, the chat group's talking about it. The chat group's talking about how
I'm on ESPN right now. I'm on the NFL page. Not a mention of it. Side for like the top. You have to go down 10 videos, 10 scrolls to actually get to a 30-second clip saying that they're going to win a championship. And that's the only mention on ESPN. It's not just ESPN's like homepage, their NFL homepage.
It
barely made a mention.
It was a big story the day it was announced. It was.
He's leaving the national champion
Michigan
Michigan Wolverines to go to the NFL.
Today was not a big story because the Chargers don't resonate in the NFL like other franchises. They just don't. Jim Harbaugh today was introduced as the New England Patriots head coach. The national reaction would be a lot different, right, Tony? I think you would agree with that. Again, you can be a Chargers fan. I'm just telling you not to be a Chargers fan. But I'm also So they really don't have much of a fan base at all. I mean, they got Tony, people that are still supporters, but they don't have LA. So they're carving out a niche that, I mean, they're carving, right? I mean, it's not some big niche.
The way everything happened, I hear somebody say, just get over it.
Did he say that?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not saying
I don't know if he did.
No, Tony didn't say that. I'm saying it's somebody, which I've seen a lot of, right? Like, just get over it. Well, guess what? A lot of people can't get over it. And if you did get over it, that's great. It's fine. More power to you. Honestly, like, I wouldn't be one of those people. I don't think I could ever be one of those people. If my favorite team, the city I grew up in and loved, just say F you and left to like the rival city. I would never get over it. But if you have, and you are okay with it, and you don't care about, somebody saying F you to an entire city after 56 years, then that's fine.
I mean, the Raiders are a good example. They literally went from saying LA. Speaking of that, in Northern California, you would have a good feel for it. It's not exactly like, hey, that's cool. And they were that vagabond franchise. Northern, Southern, Northern, Vegas. They managed it better than the Chargers managed it. Here's what the Raiders have done. The Raiders, I heard this from the Raiders. For the Raiders, it's not about the location. It's about the brand. The Raider brand can go and be successful in draft. It's not about that it's rooted in Oakland or rooted in LA or now it's in Las Vegas. It's that brand is different from other brands that it could go anywhere. And it's not about the location at all. It's about the logo and what that means. And unfortunately, not every team could do that. That you can't pick the Jaguars up and move them somewhere and be like, oh, it's the brand, not location. Like, what? Doesn't mean anything. Like, Raiders are a good example.
You take the Jets and you take them out of New York. You're like, oh, what? The Raiders are like one of those odd teams that where you put them anywhere,
true,
it's not going to draw this crazy criticism of them.
True. Although I will say this, and you would agree with this, not like their move went over well in Oakland. It was vilified, and they were criticized as they should have been. I would also say this: it's PR 101, not to rehash. It was awful public relations. You want to know why PR matters? Because of moments like when the San Diego Chargers moved to LA. It's just bad PR, from not being named Southern California to turning the page to turning your back on a city. It was handled poorly. There are examples of teams that quote unquote move that still can have a level of success. The way the Chargers handled it was poor. I mean, the truth is the San Francisco 49ers don't play in San Francisco, nor anywhere near it. And again, they ended up in LA. So there's no real way to make the thing sound great for San Diegans. But the fact that, hey, Dodgers, good luck in the postseason, and we're turning the page, and it was poor. It really was. It was poorly thought out. It was poorly thought out. Southern California Chargers, I still think would have been received better, because how could you be received worse?
Because you're saying we still care about you,
well,
San Diego.
We wish we could have gotten it done, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And we're Southern California.
But you said we don't.
Exactly.
Why does everyone hate me because of
No, just end there.
No. When I said it's literal crickets.
Do you understand what the word literal means? That means actually. So are there crickets at the press conference? Literal means actual.
So I should have said it came off. How should I say
as
it then?
Crickets?
As crickets.
Like, chirp, chirp. Like literally, nobody cares.
Literally cricket.
When you say like the Padres literally didn't win a game last year, that means they went 0-162.
Okay. I'll concede. Whatever.
Okay. On the other side,
everyone thinks I'm an idiot. It's fine.
Crickets.
619 number says, I literally teach ESL at Palomar College. You are welcome to join our class, and you can learn that figurative crickets are what you meant.
Listen, Jim's a lot of things. He may not be a thesaurus or like Shakespeare.
I'm not.
Thank you.
Sorry. I should have said that the press conference drew no buzz. There you go.
There you go. All right. Who wants 2 free tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon September 10th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater? And who wants to play trivia? Trainwreck Radio. Here's the number to call. First 2 callers will be our contestants. 877.
Literally.
767-4760. That is literal. First 2 callers will be our contestants for free tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon. Here's the number: 877-767-4760. This is September 10th, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, just announced this week. If you want 2 free tickets to the show, call right now. 877-767-4760. Trainwreck Radio. That's next. All right, Trainwreck Radio on the other side. The wrap is still ahead. We've got FanFest Padres details as well. Stay with us. Trainwreck Radio in a moment. A sold-out crowd at the TD Garden for Celtics Lakers. Who started for the Lakers? I have no idea. Not LeBron, not AD.
By the way, it's already been Trainwreck Radio today. This whole show.
This whole show is people are coming after you on
Whole
Text
show.
Right now.
You can't say that, Tim. When you say literal crickets, it means that you think there are actual crickets there.
Who cares? It's Jim. You don't want Jim to change. Do you want Jim all of a sudden to be some polished like speaker? That's not what you're looking for.
Did
in your
anybody
life.
check the floor? Maybe there were some crickets.
Could have been. Where was he introduced, by the way? Was it SoFi? Is that where the press conference was? SoFi Stadium today?
I don't know. It's like some
Where else?
auditorium or whatever. 619 number says, when Jim and Aaron are saying their vows and John comes to the part where he says, if anyone knows why this couple should not be married, let them speak now or forever hold their peace. Does Jim want to hear literal crickets?
Honestly, when I ask that part, I might interrupt. Be like, speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay, here, I'm the officiant.
Yeah.
Here are my thoughts, Aaron.
Aaron, look, you
Wait,
are
isn't
making a mistake.
Aaron a speech pathologist?
Yeah.
Oh, the irony.
Yeah.
Aaron's job is like speech.
Yes, she is.
Your job is speech.
But yeah. And sneezing
Yeah.
and mispronouncing words and sorry.
Does Aaron ever like correct your language usage?
No, but she's very nice about things. So like if I say something that doesn't
She's
sound,
like, honey, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah. She's like, honey, it's this instead of that.
That's kind of what I do.
yeah. Except you say you don't call me honey.
No, well, I basically just say it as it is.
Like, hey, idiot, it's this,
like
not that.
Like someone sent a text line, 619. That's the nicest way to say he's not smart, Schaefer. LOL. Yeah, I wish, again, it's Jim. It's Jim. Let's not turn him into something he's not. Like, do you want, yeah, you get my point. Do you want Jim Harbaugh coaching in the NBA? No. Should be an NFL guy. Don't play him out of position.
What does that mean?
I don't.
How is that supposed to make sense?
It doesn't make
Doesn't make any sense. You want Jim Harbaugh coaching LeBron James?
I'm saying you've got a role, but let's play.
I got a roll?
Let's play.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants. We have Pete and Mark. Pete, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll take Jim.
All right,
Wow,
Pete.
Pete and Jim.
Going with the illiterate guy right here. Nice.
Is that you're calling Pete illiterate or
calling
yourself?
me, myself, not Pete.
Okay.
I'm talking about myself. Mark, you get John, all right?
I want a Jim. What happened? This is Pete.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Both of you wanted Jim?
Whoa,
So
this is a first.
So wait, Mark, are you
No.
prepared to play with John?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pete gets Jim. Mark gets John as their lifeline. All right. So Brent,
All right.
with that being said, what is today's question of the day?
All right, guys. Today's question. Name the top 10 players in the NBA that have scored the most points this season. Not points per game, just points in general.
All right.
So the top 10 players have scored the most points in the NBA this season.
Okay. This season. Mark, you're up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Not a big NFL NBA fan. I'm going lifeline.
Oh, boy.
You're gonna go lifeline. I'm not a big NBA guy. I would say coming off a 73-point game, Luka Doncic with the Mavs, hopefully would be on the list.
Will you take that, Mark?
Yeah, I'll take that.
On the
Yeah,
list.
Team John.
Yeah, there you go. Pete, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you choose to use it.
Well, since you just made that point, Embiid had a pretty big game too, so I'm gonna go with Embiid.
Joel Embiid
On the list. He's also missed some games this
He
year.
has,
Yeah.
but do you think he leads the league in like
Scoring.
scoring too?
That's right, he did miss games.
Yeah, he's missed
Yeah.
a lot of games this year. I think
He's
8 or 10.
seventh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark, you're up next. What is your second guess? You don't have a lifeline anymore, so this is all up to you.
Let's go Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
I don't
know. On the list?
Wow. What?
Number 10.
Wow.
Good job. Good job, Mark.
Pete, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
This guy's got to be on there. Jokic, Nikola Jokic.
Jokic
All right.
on the list.
Nice
Boom.
guess.
Mark, final guess. You don't have a lifeline, so this is all up to you, man.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Good guess.
Pete, you could walk it off right here with a correct answer. And you have a lifeline if you want to use it to get the easy win. What is your final guess?
Giannis.
Giannis for the win. Yes, for the win. Team Jim. Wow.
Boom. Pete knew what's up.
He did.
Take
Big
a
NBA
Jim.
guy.
Boom. Done. Winner.
Who else is on this list?
My favorite guy from OKC, Shea
Gilgeous Alexander.
Yep. That's gonna be like George.
Just name
Klokoff. I'm just gonna leave his middle name out. You can just say it.
Yeah.
He's first. Giannis is second. Luka is third. Joker's fourth. Jalen Brunson is fifth.
Wow.
Jason Tatum is sixth. Embiid is seven. KD is eight. Anthony Edwards is 9, and AD is 10th.
Where's LeBron? Where's Steph?
Steph's
Steph
like
is
15, right?
Steph is 13,
Oh.
and LeBron is 17.
Soft.
Who's 11th?
Who's
I'm just
21st?
curious.
Trae Young.
Trae Young.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, congratulations to, was it Mark?
Yeah, it was Pete.
Well, congratulations, Mark, for playing.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Pete. You've won a pair of tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon September 10th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This
Friday
show
yet?
is just announced. Anyway, tickets at info at livenation.com. Keep listening tomorrow for more chances to win. All right, on the other side, what are you laughing at? The text line?
619. Knowing the rules of English is not a measure of intelligence. Working 3 hours a day behind a microphone as your main gig, that makes me think Jim is very smart.
Okay.
With a lot of sarcasm in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. On the other side, we have FanFest details for the Padres announced earlier today. We have the wrap still ahead. We have Jim's back page. We'll tell you about some guests we have on the show tomorrow as well, right here on Jon and Jim. Brian Dutcher, the Brian Dutcher Show coming up at 6. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay Motors. Lakers tonight without Anthony Davis and LeBron James are kicking the Celtics' ass already in the first
Who
quarter,
needs
24-15. Other news in the NBA: Joel Embiid has a torn meniscus in his left leg after he injured it versus the Warriors the other night. And tonight at 6 p.m., the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show with Jon and Coach Dutch right here on San Diego Sports 760. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit the ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim, but we are not done at 6 p.m. tonight. Oh, no, we are not. Jim is.
No, I am.
But he's typically done at 3 p.m. anyway. We have the Brian Dutcher Show coming up tonight at 6.
This is just like,
we're just piling on.
This show is just for me to get out of the house, honestly.
Basically, yeah.
If there wasn't a show, then I'd probably just be sitting on the couch all day doing nothing.
If you ever, let's say you lost your job.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm just hypothetically speaking. Would you tell Aaron, or would you just leave the house from like 2 to 6?
What kind of question is that?
I actually, no joke. Here, I'm going to say, I had a fraternity buddy.
If you lost your job, would you tell
I'm pretty sure
your
like
future
he
wife?
didn't tell his wife that he had lost his job because he was like fearful to tell her. So he just left the house every day.
Why would he be fearful of telling his wife that?
Because like you're making, I don't know. That's a good question.
Wives typically don't like it when you tell them you've been fired.
Yeah, because like, you're like bringing in income and
It's not your
family.
It wouldn't be your fault.
No, it's true.
Unless I like actually did something to get fired,
which is pretty likely.
Yeah.
If I lost my job, I would just be like, Kristen, you need to make more money because that's how it would go down.
Right, like Aaron, you need to get a second job.
You need a second job. I'm just going to sit here.
You need to be the Giselle in this relationship.
Right. I'm just going to watch Deadpool 3 reviews, but you need to get a second job.
I'm going to go start a podcast about about whatever. So you get all the money possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway.
Are you trying to fire me right now?
No, I'm definitely not trying to do that. Speaking of which, John Quintero will be back in for Darren Smith tomorrow. Not speaking of which. Speaking of which, because I've talked about like Jon and Jon. I mean,
you're so stupid.
This show is a train wreck.
You called it too, dude. Before the show today.
I said this show is going to be bad.
Yes, you texted me and you said this show's gonna be bad today, and I go, no, it's gonna be good. You're like, no, dude, it's gonna be bad.
Hey, at least we didn't have the EAS going off every 5 minutes like I thought we would.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess has it stopped raining? When I came in, it had kind of lightened up at like 2 PM. Has it stopped tonight?
Drizzle.
Okay, drizzle. Okay, it was heavy earlier. A couple of things we learned earlier today, Jim, was that FanFest is coming back to Petco Park, but this time in March. So a FanFest coming up in March 24th.
March 24th.
So on a Sunday.
Correct.
Also, I think they've previously stated a desire to have a celebration of life for Peter Seidler at some point before the season as well. That hasn't officially been announced, though, has it?
I don't know exactly. I know that they plan on doing that for sure.
I think that is going to be announced at some point in the future as well. But we did get FanFest details earlier today. Free event. You'll need to, download tickets once they become available? Because there's only a certain number of tickets, but they are free. And it's going to be for like 5 hours on Sunday, the 24th of March, between the Korea series and the home opener, March 28th.
They say that Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Mike Schilt, and more will be appearing at FanFest. Huh? They didn't include Ha-Seong Kim.
Okay.
I'm not going to go that conspiracy route, but anyway, I think he'll probably be there.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he's staying in Korea for a couple extra days. Who knows? There's multiple events happening. Autograph signings, the celebrity alumni softball game from 3:30 to 5:30, which is going to be cool. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be out there. The Gallagher Square grand opening starts at noon. Goes till 5:30, so it's basically like go check it out, walk around, and see everything. You also have a player workout from 2 to 3:30, which is going to be cool to watch on the field. Probably watch batting practice. And then the annual Padres garage sale, which is always fun to go to. You're like, who? They have a Jan Solarte bobblehead over here? Like, what?
Sign me up.
Give me that right now. And then the team store is going to be open from 12 to 6. And then there will be player, Q&A sessions. Hopefully Fernando Tatis Jr. doesn't, declarate the team will be winning the World Series in 4 games next year.
Declarate.
Like say that they're going to win the World Series in 4 games, like declare, like he's going to say that they're shut up, dude. And then there's also going to be just a bunch of activities on hand for fans to go and do.
I'm sorry. Okay. A couple things. I'm also still dying from yesterday.
No, you're not. You're
no,
fine.
I'm seriously am. A couple of things. What's interesting here is typically FanFest would have already occurred January.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing. They're in like go mode. Sunday, March 24th. They'll have played regular season games. The next night, they play an exhibition game. They play Monday night, I think, against Seattle. I think that's right. They play Monday and Tuesday, a night game followed by a day game, the 25th and the 26th, and an off day. And then they'll play for real on the 28th. So it's a little bit unique, like literally to be in season.
Literally.
To be in season. Well, it is literally in season. Having come back from Korea, having played 2 games, they might be tired. I'm serious. Like they might be.
That's your big takeaway.
Can you imagine if they just play those 2 games in Korea and just get their asses kicked and then come home for FanFest and get booed?
Yes, I can literally.
They're not going to get booed. I don't think. Do you think? Here's my. Do the results
You suck. You lost to the Dodgers.
What were you thinking, Mike? Showed the 8th inning.
Should have stayed in Korea.
Why did you go to Matsui? Can you imagine that?
Are you guys tired?
That's my takeaway. I'd be tired. Are you like? Can you imagine?
You're tired right now.
So hear me out for a second. Now these guys make $10 million a year. I mean, some of them make more than that. Okay, but can you imagine? You get the email like, "Hey guys, we're gonna need you on Sunday, March 24th." Like, are you serious?
Like, no,
we're coming back from Korea. It's like a 17-hour flight the day before, and you need me for 6 hours the next day.
Yeah, you don't think it's gonna be a little struggle to? Hey, Manny, we need you at a FanFest.
Well, they might not need him for 6 hours, but do you think? Does what happens in Korea have any impact on FanFest? Like to your point, if they start 0-2, are people going to be mad?
No,
it's not going to matter, right?
It won't.
It
matter.
Doesn't matter if they go 2-0 or 0-2 or 1-1, right?
It won't matter. I mean, it'd be better if they went 2-0.
Yeah,
because you would come home and
you have hecklers at FanFest.
I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario, they get outscored like 25-3 or something in the 2 games, to where it's like it was, it's like 6 years ago when they opened up against the Dodgers to open the season, and they just got destroyed the opening game or the opening series. That's why we had to come up with a Padres +3, because we had to come up with positive things to come up with about the team.
Do you remember Padres +3?
That was so funny.
That was so funny.
It was bad. So bad it was funny.
I really still a front with a comebacker back to the mound. Throw to first.
You have to find some positives out of it.
Yeah.
You got an out.
Yeah.
You recorded an out. That's a positive.
I just remember Steve be like, what else? What's next, Brent? Like, number 2.
They lost last night 13-2.
Base hit to left. Number 3.
Yay. Corey Spangenberg got a home run.
Now, you were there last year, FanFest. I was not. It was like the Beatles were in town. There were literally tens of thousands.
Literally, yeah. Literally. Do you want to punch me right now?
We're gonna have to fact check the show now.
There were tens of thousands of fans. Will they limit tickets this year? They did last year, but it was obviously still too many.
I would think, because you can't have a situation like they did last year. You just can't. That was bad. It was at times, God, I'm not gonna say dangerous, but at times it was pretty hectic.
Mm-hmm.
People were getting stuck and they couldn't move. I was in the outfield in Gallagher Square, and I was thinking to myself, do I have to like jump this fence right now? Because I can't move and I'm trying to get through and I'm stuck. I think this year will be, they've learned their lesson. It will be different. And I also do think with the workouts that are going on and the softball game, you're probably not going to be able to go on the field, which is a good thing. And people are going to be sitting in the stands, in seats, and hopefully not walking around in the concourse section and in the new Gallagher Square to make it so congested and packed like it was last year.
Yeah.
They're giving fans something to watch on the field during FanFest, so more fans will be in seats instead of walking around Petco Park.
You know what I find also interesting is, like we said before, typically you have like a FanFest in January, you've got Major League players. This year's a little unique because you've got the Major League games in Korea with the 26-man roster, but then you come home and you play Monday and Tuesday. Then you're probably turning to some of the players in your system for that as well when you come back home for the Seattle games.
I would bet that
like, is Ethan Salas going to be a FanFest and Jackson Merrill? Because those guys I would think might play in those exhibition games because that's
Probably
still before the minor league
not.
season.
If you're looking at their schedule, you know, playing the 2 games in Korea, they have time off before then because they need to get
to Korea
and get acclimated with the time change and everything. Pull this up right here. Yeah, 25th and 26th. I doubt you're going to see any regulars in those games. That's just the hunch. Like, I don't think Manny and Xander are going to come to FanFest on Sunday and be like, oh, we got to get back to Arizona to play the
those
Mariners.
games are at Petco.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Those games are at
You're
Petco.
right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I got confused. Okay, you're right. Then probably,
but even to your point, though, you're having regular Manny Machado really needs to then play in exhibition games. Like, I think you're going to see an extended point for those 2 exhibition games. I think they're putting tickets on sale for that. Was in the release. $20 tickets, maybe.
That's cool.
With $10, I think, for kids for those 2 games. It's a night game and a day game, and then it's for real March 28th.
When's the last time they had like exhibition games at?
They've had them. They've definitely had like one. But
when's the last time they did it with fans in the stands?
I don't know, but it's happened.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I remember. Well, there was the weird year with
obviously
COVID.
when the ballpark opened up, they did.
Wasn't the first ever Petco Park game a San Diego State college game? San Diego State USD?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first ever game was San Diego State.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
But I mean, that's cool. It's going to be fun to experience FanFest. I think it will be better than last year. I think they learned their lesson.
I'm sure.
I think that with all the activities that are going on, not as much hype as there was last offseason. I don't expect 45,000 fans to be there all walking around the concourse at one time like it was last year.
Let me ask you this seriously, because I love the idea of opening it up to the community. I think it's great that everyone has access. I mean, everyone can go online and try to get for tickets and like that, which is great. You got families, you got people that maybe can't afford to go to a game, but can go to FanFest. But for the benefit of those that are actually there, as opposed to having tens of thousands of people and make it cumbersome for the people that are there, do you maybe limit it by charging and then using what you've charged for, like a Peter Seiler's Foundation, for charitable, organizations that the Padres support, and you say, you know what, we're going to have 12,000 people here, and it's going to be, I'm making up, $25 a person, and we'll have season ticket holders and we'll have people, we're charging $25 for, but we're not going to have 45,000 people because it's not a good experience for those that are here.
Yeah, but the whole idea of FanFest is for people that can't afford tickets sometimes, that they can be able to get in the ballpark for free.
No, I agree.
And obviously it is for the fans as well to
And
get the first peek
kids.
get the first peek at the team for the upcoming season and get excited. And I always consider FanFest like the start of the baseball season, like the kickoff to the next upcoming year. Put last year in the past, but it's just going to be different this year just because of the schedule and Korea series. We'll see how it plays into the season, like the start of the year, because I know they're going to be tired, and I joke around, but that is a real thing because of the travel.
I just know baseball players, like, they're not going to be enamored.
They're going to hate it,
right?
And to get back on the time change schedule, we're going to be thrown off because every baseball player has a routine, and to start your season in Korea, it's going to be different.
I think, for me personally, honestly, I'm really looking forward to it as a fan to watch. I love unique things. I really do. I like events, and I do think it's an event. But you do have to think about the logistics. Like, these are professional baseball players. How does this impact logistically? Like, have you seen this week, by the way? Kind of talk about it. They don't they leave Peoria March 13th. That's their last game. March 13th. They then will be in Korea at some point. I don't know if it's the 14th or the 15th. They play a game against the Korean national team on the 17th. They play a game against the LG Twins, wherever they are, on the 18th. They're off the 19th. They play the Dodgers at 3:05 in the morning Pacific. They play the Dodgers the next day at 3:05 Pacific. They then travel. I mean, it's crazy, Jim. I mean, and again, I think it's cool and it's unique. How many opportunities you get to be profiled in Korea on a national stage, international stage like that? But for 2 weeks, their whole schedule is thrown out of whack for 2 weeks because they leave Peoria. Their last Peoria game is March 13th. And then they never go back to Peoria. They leave Peoria March 13th.
Yeah.
It's just way different. Way different.
And we'll see how it plays into the start of their season.
Yes, that's the thing.
Because
Giants aren't doing that.
No, they're not doing that. Now the Dodgers are doing that, but you have Dodgers can roll out of bed at 100 wins,
right?
Just because of the talent they have. Padres need to get out to a fast start. They can't afford to start their season slow, I feel like, because they have no margin for error.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to have a good season, I feel like it needs to be kind of what we saw in 2022, where they started out hot. Remember, like they had one of the best records in baseball, and in the first month and a half, and then they go through the season and things get tougher, and they became pretty much a 500 team. But because of their hot start, it led them to the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what's going to have to be the recipe for them this year in the postseason. Is you got to start out fast. You got to start out, in the first month of the year well, or it's going to be tough.
How much are we going to overreact to this 5 a.m. Dodgers Padres March 20th?
I mean, personally, I hate it. It's stupid that they have a game at 3 a.m. to kick off your major league season.
Guys, would you be okay? Okay, that's fair. Let's say the game was at 11 p.m. Pacific or 8 a.m. Pacific. Does that make it better? Or you just don't like it because it's not being played stateside?
I just think the timing of it. I think that, if you wanted to do this during the regular season, it'd be tough to do just because baseball's every day. It's not like football where you could afford to go to Germany or London.
Although they are doing it. There's the Mexico City series again. There's a London series this year as well in season.
Okay, but yeah,
right?
I don't know. It's not my favorite thing in the world, honestly.
Okay.
And to open up against the Dodgers too, and it's just to start your season before your home opener, like it just throws everybody off. I feel like it does. It has the chance to throw everybody off. Hopefully it doesn't, but it has the chance to kind of make things wonky to start the year.
Just doing the math on it. So I think they're 17 hours ahead of us, which means if the game is at 3 a.m., 17 hours past that is, May 12 would be 3 p.m., 5 more hours. I think it's 8 p.m. in Korea, the two games. I think I'm right because I just Googled time in Korea. So I think those games are at 8.
Korea is typically 11 to 12 hours ahead of U.S. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so that would then be 14. Whatever. It is curious. I'm with you on the timing.
Yeah.
Like you would think you would at least do something to, it's got to work in Korea. You're not playing the game at 3 a.m. in Korea, but you have to do something where you're playing the game not at 3 a.m. in the West when you have two West Coast teams playing each other.
Yeah.
That's what I would think, but apparently Major League Baseball disagrees. I'm sure they had the conversation.
And I think it's also been a hassle to try to get there. My voice cracked. I know. John.
Okay. What was it?
A hassle.
You didn't say John's favorite word.
Yeah, I know.
Literally?
No.
No, his other
word
favorite word.
Oh, that's why you went like that?
Yeah.
I said hassle.
Oh.
It's been a hassle for fans and I'm sure the team.
Yeah.
For travel accommodations.
How about the
tickets?
The ticketing stuff sounds really tricky. This is this ballpark is 17,000 seats, which is smaller than the ballpark they played at in Mexico City. So that's tiny. You've obviously got locals, Koreans that are going to be there. How many tickets do these two teams have for this game? Not a lot per each team.
Now, and also, how is the ball going to travel there? How is it's just going to be a lot of factors that could be in play, like Mexico City series. I mean, you went and we've heard the players like that wasn't even real baseball.
Right,
Like it was just stupid how easy it was. Get the ball in the air, boom, home run. Wasn't the first game like 12 combined home runs?
It was crazy, dude. It was crazy. Yeah. It might have been more than that. It was crazy.
At the end of the day, get a split. That's all that matters. Get a split. Just get a split in Korea. Just get a split. Did you see the big breaking news in baseball, John?
Is it big? Don't tease us like that.
Don't say anything. Don't look. Let me tell you.
Okay. What is it?
Jeff Passan's reporting that the Baltimore Orioles are on the verge of trading for all-star pitcher Corbin Burns.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. I'll give you 2 reasons why it's interesting.
Because it's not the Padres?
That part doesn't make it interesting to me. What makes it interesting is they were literally sold yesterday, the Orioles. And they're coming off a really good season.
A literally really good season.
I'm going to...
You're the one making fun of me for it.
Correct.
So why should you be upset?
But I'm using it properly. I'm just using it too often.
Literally.
What do you got, Brent?
I was going to say the stadium they're going to play in Korea, it says that it has a capacity of more than 1,600.
16,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, is it a dome or no? Is it outdoors?
It doesn't say.
Okay, so Corbin Burns to the Baltimore Orioles, not to the Padres. Even though the Padres could use the starting pitching.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's another starter off the board for the Padres.
Also, weakens a team in the National League for you because the Brewers were a good team last year in the postseason. Take away their Cy Young All-Star pitcher, helps the Padres out.
I don't know what they're going to be this year though, because they said months ago that, hey, you see somebody on our team you want, give us a call. Yeah. We'll shop anybody. And then Council left, and
the thing with the Padres this year
left and went to the Mets.
The thing with the Padres this year is it's really not about the Dodgers.
It's about getting in.
It's about everybody else in the National League because you're going to be competing, hopefully, for a wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about everybody. It's about the Phillies, it's about the Brewers, it's about the Cubs, it's about the Giants, it's about the Diamondbacks. Like the Dodgers, who cares? It's about everybody else in the National League because those are the teams you're going to be competing with to get into the postseason next year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So get out of here.
Everyone leave the National League.
Go to the American League, Corbin Burns. Good with me.
True. All right, on the other side, we will finally get to the wrap. We never did it in the 4 p.m. hour. We have Jim's back page still ahead as well. Brian Dutcher, the Brian Dutcher Show, will kick off at 6 p.m. Will join us right here on San Diego Sports 760. We'll look back at Tuesday. We'll look ahead to Saturday for the Aztecs. Stay with us. All right, lower mortgage rates are here, and smart homeowners are wiping out all their credit card debt with help from Loan Pronto. Hey, guys, it's Schaefer. Right now, Loan Pronto has a cash-out refinance rate of just 5.49%. It's a huge drop, so you can get refinanced now. Get cash out of your home's equity to wipe out all those credit cards and other high-interest loans. You can save hundreds every month with lower payments, or if you still have a mortgage rate in the 3s, you can use Loan Pronto's Express Equity line of credit. Just get the cash you need and leave your primary mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can get you $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in just a matter of days. Bottom line is this: Loan Pronto's got several options for you to help erase debt and take control of your finances. Call today, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. Call Loan Pronto now. Here's the number: 619-207-4336, 619-207-4336, or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, 5.49% is 6.39% APR, subject to lender approval.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Breaking news in baseball. According to Jeff Passan, the Milwaukee Brewers have traded star pitcher Corbin Burnes to the Baltimore Orioles for 2 prospects. Right now, people are saying that not a good trade for Milwaukee, but Corbin Burnes will now go to the AL East. Tonight, 6 p.m., about a half hour from now, the Brian Dutcher Coaches Show with Jon and Coach Dutch right here on San Diego Sports 760. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need for the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride. The money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply.
Ahead, the Brian Dutcher Show is coming up at 6 p.m. here tonight. Jon and Jim. Corbin Burnes to the Orioles. It's amazing at like the immediate reaction is if they're like, oh, Brewers got fleeced. Do we really know that?
Dan Zimborski said, holy bleep.
And he's going to join us, I think, tomorrow. Dan Zimborski Fangraphs. Okay, interesting. So apparently a good deal spun by the Orioles today, the day after they were acquired by a new ownership group.
So the players that they got was
I've never heard of any
Milwaukee infielder Joey Ortiz and left-handed pitcher DL Hall and the 34th pick in the 2024 draft.
Fleeced. Everyone knows DL Hall's got no chance to be successful.
Every comment is like.
But, the Orioles, they really didn't want to give up DL Hall in this deal.
Right. I mean, 34th overall pick is
like Michael King.
Yeah, they didn't want to give up exactly. Yeah. All right.
It kind of makes you wonder about every other team that needed starting pitching. Prospects are always different, right? If the Padres called the Brewers and they're like, we want Jackson Merrill, you're like, no, not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then from another team, they like this prospect more. But maybe the consensus around baseball is like, that prospect sucks. But to the Milwaukee Brewers, they might think that prospect's good.
Right, exactly.
It's all about what they think, not what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, it's like stars in recruiting. Like, oh, this guy's only a 3-star player. I mean, the guy could end up being like the Super Bowl MVP. Was Brock Purdy more than the 3-star player? Let me answer that. No.
But he was the player. He was the player of the year in Arizona high school football.
That's great. Okay, Jim's back page is coming up in 15 minutes right now. Let's get to this.
What part of Padres Fan Fest are you most excited for?
Ooh.
I think I'm the most excited for the new Gallagher Square to see how that looks. I mean, the renderings, I love a good rendering, looked awesome. And I think that part of Petco Park is going to be a massive upgrade from what they had before. So I'm excited about that the most, and seeing that for the first time.
I am most excited for playing in the celebrity softball game.
Oh, okay.
Or watching the celebrity softball game.
Yeah.
So because who's going to be in this? Are we going to get like Tony Hawk types?
Are we actually going to get real celebrities? Or like
San Diego's got a lot
fake celebrities. That
what's your threshold? What are you looking for? Are you looking for the Tony Hawks of the world?
I'm looking for either
Blink 182,
people in like singers or
what singers?
I don't know. Like Brent just said, Blink 182. Tony Hawk's a good name.
There's a lot of pro wrestlers from this town.
Alex Morgan, Kerry Walsh.
That's a good one.
Okay, maybe in Aztec in some capacity.
Yeah, Lamont Butler.
They might be in the tournament.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right about that. Former Aztec players. That aren't currently playing.
San Diego Chicken.
Nah, no.
Okay. Next question.
What are you more excited for? The Super Bowl or the start of spring training?
Seriously?
Well, I think I know your answer.
I mean, you can be excited for both because
no, you can't.
No, you can't.
The question says pick one.
Well, yeah, I'm at this moment in time for February 11th. I'm more excited on February 11th for the Super Bowl.
Why do you hate the Padres?
I knew that was coming.
Here's the thing. And I mean, if I'm going to be honest here, which I have to be, it's spring training. I'm excited. We're getting close to baseball.
Spring training too.
I love when you get to this time of year. Yeah, sure. The Super Bowl has some relevancy for some people.
Yeah,
There's some people that might be
only
watching.
130 million people will be watching. It's fine.
How many people are going to watch that day one where they're throwing the ball back and forth on the backfields? Could be 100 million people watching that too.
and like the video they'll be tweeted out by the Padres.
Yeah.
He'll probably get like maybe like 700 likes.
So you'll be doing more Super Bowl watching on February 11th than spring training content?
I look, watching Joe Musgrove get out of his car and walk into the Peoria complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see, but I'm sorry, on February 11th, I'll be more excited for the Super Bowl. But after February 11th, it's all Padres. All the
Not
time.
if the Niners win the Super Bowl.
Well, even if they do win the Super Bowl, John,
you're going to be
the game is
looking
over.
At stuff.
Yeah, I will be, but then I will be in Padres mode. So
wearing a like, isn't she Purdy shirt? Next question.
Literally.
Next question.
Why is no one talking about Jim Harbaugh officially being introduced today as the Chargers' new head coach?
Because it's the Chargers, and it's the Chargers. I thought it was going to be bigger, honestly. I thought I was like, wait a second here. When's he getting introduced? I thought it was supposed to happen Tuesday, but it was today. And I don't know. It's just the brand. The brand is very weak. It's not a national brand by any. If it was the Cowboys, it'd be plastered all over ESPN.
Oh my gosh, New England!
It would be all over social media. If Bill Belichick, if they fired McCarthy and hired Bill Belichick,
that would be huge.
It'd be massive.
The biggest sports story of the day.
It's about the brand, and the brand is very weak. It's not a top tier brand in the NFL. It's a bottom tier brand in the NFL.
What surprises me is he's so like clip worthy. I mean, anything comes out of his mouth, people are always discussing, and he sits in front of the media in Los Angeles for 30, 40 minutes, and nothing of relevance comes out of that for social media chatter. I mean, there really hasn't been.
Remember when I am blanking on his name? I am such an idiot. Oh man, I'm gonna remember it. Hold on. Ohio State head coach, John. Come on, give it to me. Coach the Jaguars.
Urban Meyer.
Okay, thank you. I don't know why I blanked on that name.
Bulls player, 6 titles, good like shooter, and got to the basket and stuck his tongue out.
You're comparing Michael Jordan to Urban Meyer?
Fair. But Urban Meyer,
are you saying Urban's better
in college?
But yeah, exactly. Is Urban better than Michael Jordan? Or when Urban Meyer got hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That was a big story.
It was a big story, but
it wasn't the Cowboys.
But it wasn't the Cowboys, and it gave the Jags some relevancy, and then it turned into a complete dumpster fire.
That was
complete dumpster fire, and then he's gone, and it's like Jaguars, well, whatever.
They fire him in year 1 or year 2.
I think it was year 1.
Oh my gosh.
He lasted 1 year, and it was a disaster.
He barely even made it that first year.
Oh my gosh,
my point is the brand matters, and the Charger brand is a bottom tier brand in the NFL. Even with Jim Harbaugh, it might elevate it a little bit, but it will never be a top 10 brand. Even if they win a Super Bowl, it's never will. Look at the Rams. Rams won a Super Bowl
2 years ago,
and they're still very not. I'm not gonna say irrelevant in LA, but they're not as relevant as they should be.
Right.
I don't think anything really came out of it. I don't think there was like a big soundbite where I was like, "Oh God, did you see what Harbaugh said at his intro press conference?" To where it's just like,
kind of know what you're gonna get with Harbaugh. Anyway.
It was just like your basic, generic intro press conference of, "Hey, I'm here to beat insert team rival here, and we're here to win championships." It's your basic coach speak. So,
next question:
who makes it to the big leagues first, Jackson Merrill or Ethan Salas?
I'll go with, just because of age, Jackson Merrill, and he has way more time in the minors than Ethan Salas.
Yeah, better be.
If both of them come up at the same time, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. They're not both coming up at the same time. Merrill is clearly ahead of Salas in terms of getting to the big leagues. There's a really good chance Jackson Merrill reaches the big leagues in 2024. I don't know the circumstance, if it's injury, ineffectiveness, he earns it, whatever they do. There's a very good chance.
Where does he play, though?
They promote. Well, you usually can figure that out. It's not a problem to be like, if he's good, he's good. They'll figure it out. Someone will leave the field in DH, and all of a sudden he'll be in the field. I mean, that happens. So, I mean, we're not just going to wait for him to have a spot to play, are we? I guess you could, because Hassan Kim's not under contract beyond 2024. So I guess you could wait.
What did Kyle Glazer tell us a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago?
Okay.
That if you plan on having Jackson Merrill in another position,
like
left field or outfield, he needs at least a full season in the minors before getting called to the big leagues to play that position.
He did say that, yes.
So as of right now, there's no spot for him. Give me a spot where he plays majority of the time.
Left field.
Exactly. So if they decide they want to move him to left field, you got to, as somebody, as Kyle Glaser said, somebody that knows what he's talking about, he's got to play a full year to get acclimated to that spot.
Put Crony out there. Move some guys around.
Are we on nickname basis now?
Mm-hmm.
Crony?
Mm-hmm.
Your nickname guy?
Yeah.
Nickname guy now?
Put your boy Crony out there.
Yeah, Crony and Toddy.
Right.
And
Azokari
is
Silky.
Sugar.
Yeah. And Sugar.
And
then Jackson Merrill in the infield.
That's one thing I'm just like, nickname guy, like a little cringe.
Nickname guy.
It's
just
all right.
in general.
As long as you don't give yourself the nickname. Nobody can do that unless you're Kobe.
Well, no, I'm mean like a guy that acts like he's a part of the team and he's like, what's up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like what, a lot of we, you mean?
A lot of wheeze, a lot of shilty. Hey, shilty.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're not a part of the team. Stop trying to act like it. It's just a little cringe to me.
Okay. On the other side, Jim's back page. Brian Dutcher show at 6 p.m. Stay with us. All right, hey guys, it is Schaefer. The big game is coming. There's no better place to watch it than the brand new Novo Brazil Brewing in Mission Valley. It is a spectacular sports bar. They've partnered with the Mesa Foundation Collective, benefiting San Diego State men's and women's basketball players on a co-branded kombucha, by the way, that's now out. This brand new location in Mission Valley is now open. It's only been a couple of weeks. The new product, again, proceeds go to the Mesa Foundation. It was taste tested by current Aztec student athletes, Lamont Butler, Jaden Ledee, Micah Parrish, and others. Let me tell you about this restaurant. I was there 2 weeks ago. It's spectacular. 350 seats, unbelievable LED screens. Every game you could possibly imagine is going to be on. Full bar menu, 60 taps of Novo Brazil beer, which is spectacular. They've got the Nova Kombucha, which we've been telling you about. They have seltzers. They've got great food offerings. They really do. I mean, sandwiches and salads, tacos, burgers, empanadas, whatever it is, Brazilian-inspired entrees. They have 5 area locations now, including the brand new one in Mission Valley, a great, great spot at Otay Ranch with massive LED screens as well. If you're looking for all the area locations, if you're looking for more information, again, as you're getting ready for your sports viewing this weekend, check him out at novobrew.com. That's novobrew.com. I'll tell you, man, we've got Jim's back page coming up. Ryan Dutcher at 6 p.m. This matchup on Saturday, I keep saying San Diego State, Utah State for a game. The matchup inside, Jaden Ledee and Great Osabor. The guy's name is Great.
That's a great name.
He is basically like he's had the same season as Jaden. This guy's been unbelievable. Similar size. He's been great. He gets the same. How about this? This guy's shooting more free throws than Jaden Ledee.
What?
And he's drawing more fouls per 40 minutes than Jaden Ledee.
Do you think Jaden needs to?
Well, Jaden hasn't really shot any in the last
Recently,
3 games.
You're right. You're right.
Do you think there's something that he needs to kind of adjust as far as when he's down low instead of trying to bully his way through everybody? Like,
we can ask Dutch that coming up.
Is there an adjustment that needs to be made by him to get more fouls called on him like he was early in the year? Or is it just one of those coincidences that is happening because for whatever reason? I don't know.
Okay, well, here's the deal. He's now drawing way more doubles. This is in Mark's article today. His turnovers were at 1.8 per game through 13 games, 3.3 turnovers per game over his last 7. He's just drawing doubles. And we saw it against Colorado State. Like, he'll try to get rid of it when he sees that quick double, and someone's got to make them pay. Aztecs hit 10 threes. Some of those because Jaden passed out of a double.
Yeah.
So
It's
he's just
almost
going to
like-
recognize it.
It's almost like whenever he gets the ball in one of his spots, he's going to have to make a very quick move. Because if he holds,
It's funny you said Dutch is quoted as saying the same thing. Like, hey, he doesn't mind him attacking the double, but you like attack it quicker before they can actually set the double. Go.
Like if you get the ball at the top of the key, you have to have a mindset of, all right, I'm going to shoot this, or I'm going to give a pump fake and go right around this guy instead of maybe taking a couple dribbles and, feeling out your defender and then letting the double team come to you. And that's then going to have you either pass out of it or take a contested shot with 2 guys on you.
I mean, it's an amazing matchup. Utah State's 19-2. Again, they've got a big man that's been as good as Jaden Ledee this year. We'll have it for you Saturday.
He's been great.
Literally. Let's get to it.
John, did you ever have a Michael Jordan rookie card?
I don't think so.
No?
No. How much are they worth?
Well, I'll tell you. 2 PSA Michael Jordan Gem Mint 10, which is the
perfect condition.
The perfect condition, literally the best you can get.
Okay.
Rookie card sold last night. How much did it sell for?
$39K.
Brent?
Million.
No way.
738,000 each.
Wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
The crazy part is 55 days ago, the record for a PSA Gem Mint 10 Jordan rookie card was $150,000.
Whoa.
So something happened there. And that thing skyrocketed.
That's amazing. I mean, $700,000 for a card is crazy. I wish I had one.
I wish I did too. Imagine if you had one when you were younger and you just like threw it away or don't know where it went and you just kind of like lost track of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing this now.
Oh yeah.
You're
That
like,
wouldn't be good.
What?
Yeah.
Man, crazy. Bet Online has come out with a lot of Taylor Swift prop bets. A lot. Here are some of the prop bets for the Super Bowl. Taylor Swift's primary color of top coming off of the plane.
What?
As of right now, black is a plus 200 favorite.
What if it's like lots of colors?
Good question. Does not have a lots of colors option.
Okay.
Will Taylor Swift wear Travis Kelce's jersey during the game? Right now, the betting favorite is no at minus 200.
Yeah, I feel like no.
Taylor Swift's primary color of top at the Super Bowl?
Red.
Minus 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor Swift, what does it say? Taylor Swift wear on bottom half at Super Bowl 58? Oh, what is she going to wear like on her bottom half? Right now, shorts is a plus 175 shorts.
Will she perform with Usher? Can you get a prop on that?
As of right now, I don't see.
Can you imagine
one.
That'd be big.
These are crazy. Taylor Swift's playing the Super Bowl props. Will Taylor Swift's travel from Japan to Las Vegas be shown? minus 600.
Shown how? Like
Plus
on a
four-
network?
Hey, yes, at a plus 400. That's not pretty bad. That's not bad. Will Taylor Swift mention Kelsey or the Chiefs at her Tokyo show? Right now, it's a minus 200. Yes.
She's definitely going to mention it the day before. Like, I'm heading back to the U.S. tonight.
Yeah. Also, this one's kind of a crazy one. Will American Airlines flight 1989 or 87 be delayed?
That's
Just
kind of air travel.
It's just a weird one.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you want to bet on Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, there are plenty of prop bets for that.
Oh, great.
And the final one of the day, brought to me by Brent. Let me just close that. Let's do here. All right. If you want to do something to celebrate Valentine's Day, a San Antonio zoo has the perfect gift for you. You can get a cockroach, name it after your ex, and feed it to an animal at the zoo.
What are we doing?
They're celebrating the return of their Cry Me a Cockroach fundraiser, where you can symbolically name a roach after your ex that will get fed to a zoo animal for $10. You can also
get to watch it.
You can also name a rat for $25 or veggie for $5 after your ex. For $15, a poop scented candle is available if you're looking to impress a potential partner. The candle captures the scent of the San Antonio Zoo's Hippo Timothy's signature scent of hippo poop. The zoo says hippo poop is the cologne of the hippo world, used to impress mates.
I don't know. Okay, Brian Dutcher's show's coming up next. If you missed anything today, you didn't miss this music. SportsNC.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. Okay, and leave a review if you're listening to us via a podcast. Find us on social media, by the way, at Jon and Jim, JonAndJim. Brian Dutcher show is on the other side. Head coach of the Aztecs is going to join us. If you got a question for the coach, 70470. You can start it with team, or you can call in right now, 877-767-4760. For Brent and Jim, I'm Jon. Brian Dutcher show next right here on San Diego Sports 760. Okay.